This is the Rebel Yell podcast, supported by MK Window Cleaning and Price Jones Electrical.
Welcome to episode 11.
I think it might be 11.
9, 10. 10? Episode 10. 10, I think. Episode 10. Rebel Yell podcast for the 25-26 season, brought to you by Price Jones Electrical. MK Window Cleaning. The old man's still not here. He's still missing in action, isn't he?
He's working, apparently.
Well, that's what he says. I think he's on a bender still. He's on a 2-week and a bit bender. He's been in Cardiff, dancing to Kylie on the bars of Coyote Ugly. He's drinking WKD and Smirnoff Ice. But Yakko, we've got another. We promised. Well, we were going to do a players one, but I think it's harder. It's like we ain't going to nail them down, so we might try and get some together in the summer. But if not, they've been partying. They're on their summer holidays now, so I think
well-deserved holidays.
Well deserved. So it's just me. It's Yakko. We're going to just go through a couple of the highlights of the season on this one. We've got clips from BBC.
Have we now?
We'll clip some BBC, and I speak to Robin Gray from BBC, who's been brilliant to us this season. He's been fantastic. And as you hear, it's about time like Worthing are represented well at this level, and it'll be even more so as you'll hear from the interview. We speak to local press Steve Bone for 2 weeks in a row. They've had massive pullouts for the Worthing being promoted in the local papers, which has been fantastic. And we speak to the girls. Unfortunately, it's not a season they wanted to end. We've got Elle Keegan, who come back to the podcast. Holly Talbot speaking around the marathon. It's been a disappointing seeing JC speaks to us as well. And we obviously end it with a fantastic tribute and goodbye to Keith Mitchell, the C.O.O, who's leaving Worthing FC for the final time. Unfortunately, big boots to fill, Yakko.
Very big boots, and I think what the work Keith has done in 3 years is amazing. When he started, we had a ground, and now we can say we have got a stadium.
Yeah, we have. Are you still on a high?
Yeah. The only thing is, on Saturday I was a bit lost. I didn't know what to do.
It's two Saturdays without football, and then seeing Hornchurch win, which fair play to them. Not my ideal of an away day, but hopefully they improve that situation. And seeing obviously Boreham Wood so closely miss out in the National League, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, Hornchurch is not the nicest day out, but to be honest, the same as Rochdale, they've both finished second in the league, so it is nice for them to go up.
It is, yeah. It's nice, and they deserve it. They were up there a lot this season for a team that a sort of pub team from Essex. So their chances, and fair play to them. But Yakko, we've got an action-packed episode. We've spoken enough about the promotion previous episode. So I mean, let's start with the girls who spoke to us. It was the same night as a pubcast, actually, wasn't it? So it's a little while ago. They've had their players' night last weekend, which is lovely, and we'll speak to them, and then we'll follow it up by JC.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Can't put you in a promotion special, can I? Not being rude.
I think that's very rude.
We
James.
don't want to bring the tone down, do we, Jacko?
That hurts, James. That hurts.
I'm so sorry, but we love you.
You can
really.
hit him if you want. I don't mind.
I've got a table and a microphone in front of me, so that'll be a bit of damage hiding that. But girls, we do jest. But welcome to the Rebel Yell podcast. Obviously, Elle back as per usual. Can't stay away. Obsessed. Living in our heads rent free. Holly, the marathon. The marathonist, or what do you call them? Marathonist, the marathon runner.
Marathon runner, yeah.
Oh,
Finisher.
Like
Finisher.
Yeah, I like that.
Fresh from the London Marathon. So congratulations, I think. A round of applause.
Thank you.
I
heard a little birdie telling me without training as well.
That is true. I didn't actually train, so this is probably the most unhinged thing I've ever done, but it was worth it.
There we go. And Amber Hazelwood, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's a bit late to get you on really now, isn't it? Yeah. End of the season. Are you going to be here next year?
Yeah.
Oh, good. There we go. So we're all right. It's all right. It's all good. So, girls, no point beating around the bush. A disappointing season all round, isn't it? Holly, start with you. Being the captain this season. Honestly, at the beginning of the season, I'm sure you didn't think it would end out like this. But, we've talked months, every episode we know about the struggles of being in the South West League, from getting players, from the cost of it and running. How are your thoughts? I mean, you sum up the season, obviously disappointment. But,
obviously it was quite disappointing. I think at the start of the season, we knew it was going to be a struggle, but we didn't think it would be as hard as it turned out to be. We did have quite a high turnover of players. So it was hard for us to kind of get a rhythm and get some results pulled together. But I'm proud of the team and that the majority like stuck together till the end, and even the last couple of games we actually put in some quite good performances against top of like the table, so we can all be proud of that for the whole season as well.
Obviously, we spoke to you all last year about it, and I know last season you girls were disappointed that some players left before the end. You know, you were safe, and it was almost like they were already, I was a joke, on the beach, ready to go on their summer holidays. But obviously, Elle, we know through this season you've struggled to get on the pitch. Obviously, there's no point going about your injury again, but you got back, and I saw on Sunday it was emotional seeing you how upset you were because you care about this club. And I think, to be honest, I mean, you should, if there was an award for dedication to the team, you should get it, because for someone that's not paid, injured out for most of the season, but is still turning up for training sessions, still being sort of a core part of the squad. I mean, girls, you must feel like Elle's done the team proud. And what do you think of it at the end? Like, how do you feel? I mean, that emotion said it all.
Yeah, don't want us to get too emotional now. It's hard. I think it's like you said, like you just care so much, and like I think it's just a disappointment. Like I don't know if it sounds like I get too emotional and too into it, I guess, for some people, but like obviously like Bridgie's a player that's been here as well, like seasons where they've got promoted, like people have pushed to get to that position, to them for us to not be able to sort of sustain that, I guess, is really difficult. But I think at the same time, like then I also have disappointment just from like the players that have stayed, because like Holly said, there's players that have stayed and stuck it out no matter what. They still turn up to training and things like that. So then just disappointment in that part as well, that I know how hard all the players that have stayed have worked. And then, like Holly said, we've had good performances as well. So just not to be able to just sort of push ourselves out of that relegation zone is just really difficult. And I know the girls and the characters and sort of their mental willpower and stuff just to keep going. So yeah, I think it's just that as well, like not even just a personal thing, just a disappointment for everyone that we couldn't just sort of push out of that, because it's tough and everyone did work so hard. The results obviously aren't going to put you sort of go in our favour, I guess, but to like show that, but everyone has worked so hard, like you see it in the gym, like everyone turns up and they give 100%. It's not a case where players are sacking it off. So I think it's just disappointment, like from that kind of thing.
But based on what you just said, does it give you a bit of hope for next season then? If you get the majority of the squad together, maybe a few additions here and there, you know, do you think it will be
definitely
a good basis to start with?
Yeah, definitely. And like it's something that's sort of come up in like team talks after games, that like I'd rather play for a team where there's characters that are willing to stay and willing to fight than go to another team where it's not like that. Because I know in football there can be like turnovers of players and stuff like that, but I don't think anyone that sort of joined knew how high the turnover was and how difficult this season would be. So I think it's just like props to all the girls that did stay. It just shows what they're about and the characters they are. So yeah, definitely going into next season, I hope that a lot of players do stay, and then it's something to build on, because I'd hate obviously for it to be a big turnover again and back to square one.
Amber, obviously you joined at the beginning of the season. What attracted you to come to Worthing in the first place?
My family have like always been Worthing supporters. Growing up as well, like I always put Worthing on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Because like I never really believed I was good enough to play for them. I got myself.
Well, you are now. You definitely are.
Yeah,
You definitely
this is
proved
why
it.
It's like a big
Yeah.
thing for me,
Yeah.
like coming here. It's just a shame that I come and then all of that happens.
Oh
but
yeah, but it's
hopefully we can just bounce back.
So I mean, so you joined the club. So your family fans of the men's and women's team, or was it mainly the men's team they've been sort of watching?
I
over
went
years?
to watch a few of the men's games,
Yeah.
but my brother and my dad like always go to the
Yeah.
men's games.
Yeah, so they were quite happy on Saturday then, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
buzzing.
cool. Yeah, buzzing. So like you know, Elle said she's had a connection with Worthing. I don't know, Holly, have you got a connection with Worthing at all over the years? Have you got? And because I know you're up in Crawley way, but have you ever had any sort of family relation or anything up in Crawley? Sorry, up in Worthing.
Well, Danny Cashman used to be my next door neighbour. So
that man.
that
Who
would be
he gets around like
that would
you
be
know,
the
a
only
bad
link I
smell,
would
doesn't
have,
he? Yeah, there you go.
Other than that,
That's the
it.
only link. So Amber, like obviously, so it's nice. It must be proud when you put the shirt on. You represent the town that your family's so close to. So the season started. It's been up and down. You know, how would you sum up your first season personally? Like your personal goals that you had. Obviously, relegation obviously wasn't one of them, but you know your own personal goals. Are you proud of what you played a part of the team this season?
Yeah, I mean, on my debut as well, like I scored in the last minute, I think, to get the win.
It's not a bad debut, is it?
No, and then my second game in, I scored again, so I was like on top of the world.
Yeah.
I think I've got 7 this season.
Yeah.
I would like more, but
yeah.
with what I had, I think I did all right.
So we're down back in the London and South East Regional League, am I right? Is that definite? Is it confirmed, or can we be... Please don't tell me it's going to be another South West crap thing again,
Well,
is it?
it's not confirmed yet. We have to wait and see what the FA decides.
Is it looking like we could be, or...?
It's looking like we could be, but we just don't know with who gets promoted and relegated in the other leagues that we could get into.
What would the other league be? Because obviously I'm only used to London South East. Like, what is the other league? Is it South West? Is it
It's South West again, so it's like Portchester. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of region. I can't think off the top of my head the teams exactly, but it will be that kind of region. So,
oh god, that's just
some travelling again.
I think
that could be like that could be a disaster.
Yeah.
Do you know if the club have been trying to work? Because obviously, I know speaking to JC, and they said if we were going to stay up in this league, they would have made inquiries because they were too late last season to make sure we could have an attempt to go back to the South East Regional of the National League. Has there been, as far as you're aware, has there been things made or like sort of inquiries made about making sure we are in? Because I think not going to beat around the bush here, and I think for you girls as well, we could lose everyone, because I'm not saying you guys want to go, but that must have been so tough as it is. But to play a step lower, what players you're going to get? The hope for us, Jacko, isn't it? Till we get back to London South East, we attract players that are great at that level that might get us back into the situation we were, because we can get up to promotion. I think that's what we all want. And
of course
the threat
we
of
do.
the South West is scary.
I think of the Southwest, I think recruitment will be very difficult, because then you have to travel again these far distance, and I don't know how you do it. Honestly, you leave early on a Sunday, come back late on a Sunday. It's just weekend gone, really, isn't it? And then if it happens, it would be. I don't know how the club will deal with that, actually, to be honest.
Because we've all said, and we know that the finances around the women's team have mainly all been, it has been all spent on coach travel. So that was, I know, one of the key things we've said, that like hopefully some of that money that has been used will be saved, and we might be able to sort of help you girls out with like expenses, which is what everyone prays for, because that's the only way we're going to build as a women's team, because that's the step we're going to. There's clubs that are paying money now for players, aren't there? And there are clubs that are doing that. So obviously you're going to do it. And I know you've said many times, Elle, that you're not doing it for the money, but it'd be nice to get a little bit of support for your like fuel, and especially for fuel prices at the moment. You don't really want that, do you?
Yeah, for sure. And I think just on that, like, even if that's not something that like drives me, it's something that might drive someone else. So it is stuff you have to look at. I mean, obviously this will be step 5 that we're going into now, but there's players in step 7 that are getting paid a decent amount. So there's got to be some attraction from somewhere, even if that's something that I might not be motivated by. It definitely helps, and other players will be motivated by that. So I can't beat around the bush that it wouldn't be helpful. But obviously then it's league dependent as well now. So yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Holly? What do you sort of echo Elle's thoughts there as well?
Yeah, like the same thing. I mean, personally for me, I work a 9 to 5:30 in London every single day. So I commute all the way up to London and back, and then come down to Worthing, 2-3 times a week for training and games, to then go on a Sunday to South West and be playing in Plymouth. That's my whole week is gone. So it's just about, it would be better for me, and I think for a lot of players, if we were back in the Southeast. And, it's good to play those teams that, we've played before, that we know them, we know their players. It's also easier for us to recruit players if we are in the Southeast. So I'm just really hoping that Worthing and the FA can hopefully get something sorted and we are back in the Southeast.
Do you know when that will be decided? I don't know. It must be. The season's nearly over, isn't it? Or it is over, or is it just playoffs and stuff now?
Yeah, it's finished.
I know our season's finished, but like of other leagues below, and
I think the playoffs are done now, aren't they, as well? As far as I'm aware.
Could we be playing
I could be
Bognor?
lying here.
Are Bognor in the London and South East, or are they the one below that? Damn, that would have been good. The Classicos Feminino Classicos we could have had, couldn't we?
It'd be fun.
That would have been fun. So yeah, and Amber, what are your thoughts on that sort of step for football? Like, you must. Although it's like, because where did you play before Worthing? Where
I
were you
was
at?
at Stenning, so I was in Tier 6. So
Yeah.
it's quite a big jump for me
Yeah.
coming up here.
So would you prefer to be in that Southeast London sort of regional division rather than the sort of Southwest? Have you found it personally quite hard to be travelling those distances every Sunday?
I mean, it is hard, but I've enjoyed it. Like, I like spending time with teammates. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like you get build a bond together when you're on the coach.
Yeah, that's true.
But it is
actually.
hard, and it would be nicer to be a bit closer.
I guess that must be one of the sort of positive thoughts about, like, you know, being in the Southwest, because there's a core of you that have stuck around, and we have seen, you know, Layla Willing, Player of the Year, which was fantastic. And I think she thought, what the hell? What she said to us, she was like, "What have I done? What have I done?" It's like, no, it's fine, don't worry.
You've been friends.
But yeah, it's been good. But, like, you know, you've had that core. There's been 4 or 5 of you that have been around all the time. So it must be nice to think that. And I take it you girls, and, you know, I'm not speaking out of turn here by saying it, I take it you want to still be here next year if the opportunities give. Is that right? We've got 3 head shakes here, haven't we? So we can't video podcast. We can't do
Not
that.
yet.
Not
Not
yet. Next season.
But I think as well, because just little sides of the development what Worthing have announced for the girls on the 14s and JPL team, and I think they need somebody to look up to, a team. They said, well, actually, if we play well, that's a step up for us, and I think that's going to be so important. So they need, for next year, if we can attract more players and play in a more local league, I think it will be fantastic.
Yeah, because the league below, was it? Where did all our players go to? Then
Salty.
and they got promoted. They're replacing us basically, aren't they? Are they in our league? Yeah, it's true, isn't it? That would be one of those things. I think it'd be really good to get. But the season's done now, girls. So when did the conversation start happening, Holly? You as a captain, like, do you know sort of, you know, first of all, we don't know, is JC sticking around? I mean, that's not a question you can answer, but is he in theory, as far as you know, staying around?
Yeah, as far as I know, we still have our presentation evening, you know, end of season next week. So I'm sure a couple of weeks after that, the club will start having conversations with JC and us as players about what the plan is for next season. Possibly we'll know more about what league we'll be in and can start planning towards, so hopefully get a promotion season.
Yeah. So what's summer mean now? What are you doing in summer? Like, what's the plans? Working probably, aren't you?
Yeah, working, relaxing, having a good time.
Forgetting about football?
Forget about football for a little bit and then back to it.
Have you got a holiday planned?
I haven't actually, you know. I know.
I know somebody books where you can book a holiday.
Yeah, not for long. Not for long. Wasting my time, but yeah. So you're just going to chill? Is it quite nice, or do you get to a point where you miss football a little bit?
Yeah, definitely miss it.
Now you're probably like, yes, but now.
Yeah, I mean, the games have definitely been tough. Like, for me, like, you know, when we've been losing quite a lot, like, I take it quite personally, especially as a captain as well. Like, I feel very responsible for how the season's gone. So having just a few weeks break is probably what I actually need. Yeah.
Yeah, Amber, what about you? What's your plans for the summer?
Get fit. I've had shin splints all season, so I've got to try and rest a little bit. But as soon as they're healed, I want to just get as fit as I can.
Yeah. Are you getting away on holiday?
Yeah, I've got 2 holidays.
Oh, go on. Where are you going? Where are you going?
Tenerife, and then I'm going to Greece in like 2 weeks.
Not bad. That's all right
Nice.
for summer.
That's right for summer now.
It's like me. Sounds like me. Judith Chalmers, they call me. What about you? Marbs with Izzy again.
I wish. No.
She's
no
under the
Marbs.
thumb now, isn't she? As you said to us off the microphone.
I can't disclose that information.
Well, I like she's going to listen to this anyway. Do you know what I mean?
I do have a holiday, but it is around the Marbella area, but just nice and chill, just with 2 girls I work with, which will be nice just to chill out end of May.
Girls trip.
Yeah, and then I think a little holiday with Dawny and Brian maybe.
Oh, Dawny and Brian.
Yeah.
Where are they taking you? Do you not know
We haven't
yet?
decided yet,
Oh,
but it'll be obviously school holiday, so a bit
Expensive,
spenny, so we'll have to have a look at that, but yeah.
Yeah, go on a cruise. That's what you need to do. Go on a cruise.
I don't think that's for me.
Yeah, it will be.
Oh,
Trust me.
okay.
Virgin. I'm trying to get business here. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Get business
All right.
here.
Okay.
What's the discount?
Discount with Virgin, and you know I don't work for Virgin. Not getting you a discount on that
Oh,
one.
what are you talking about then?
Don't talk to me about discounts. So someone sliding my message the other day. I'm going to do a discount.
I didn't say anything about
Yeah,
discount.
whatever. Anyway, that's another story for another time. But then when do you start focusing on the season then? Like, will you be sort of training when you're on holiday, or will you literally be just sitting there with cocktails and...
No, I have to train. I'm a bit of like...
Do you go out for a run in the morning and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
I think... I don't know if I've got like OCD or something, but I have to have a bit of a routine, and I do think like sport is so good for like mental health wise.
Yeah.
Just even just like when you get up and go and do something, even if that is just a run, I think it just sets you up for the day.
Yeah.
But all the girls are probably bored of hearing it, but I've already started with a PT, so let's hope that works out in my favour. But yeah, so to be honest, like I've had obviously like Tuesday and Thursday. We haven't had training this week, so I haven't done anything on them 2 days. But yeah, still.
I guess like
still
you must
keeping
be
it
even more
together.
determined than ever, obviously, because although you did do pre-season a little bit, it got cut short in pre-season, didn't it? And you obviously couldn't do. So have you got more of a determination this time to actually get as fit as you possibly can? And
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's really hard because I think I just think like that all the time. Like, I don't want to go to pre-season and be blowing. So I probably just think like that all the time, to be honest. But yeah, I guess so. I think everyone else has been more worried about my eye than me, to be honest. Everyone
Yeah.
asked me about it and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Well, it should be good. Should be good. Girls, just I think we say from all of us. I think it's a disappointing end to the season. It really is, but it's just gutting to end it on such a low after obviously we had some couple of good years. We all hope from Rebel Yell and the rest of the team that you can go and smash it next season, smash that league, and we'll get through and be fighting for the title next season. Don't you say, Jack?
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Fingers crossed. But enjoy your summer. Thank you for spending a bit of time with us. Behave yourselves. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do. And we look forward to seeing you in the Worthing Red or pink or lilac or whatever. What would you actually call it? What would you say?
The lilac.
It is lilac. Is that what you say? The lilac.
I like the lilac shirt.
like it, yeah.
I really like it.
Next season, and we'll look forward to getting you on the pod next season. So thank you, girls, and enjoy your summer.
Thank you. Enjoy your summer.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Well, JC, for the final time this season, welcome to the Rebel Yell podcast. And as we kind of alluded to on the last one when we recorded at Taron Club, it probably not going to be a positive celebration of the season because obviously the girls have been relegated to what hopefully, which we didn't realise till we spoke to the girls, hopefully is the London and South East League. But again, it could be, depending on the FA, it could be something else, which would be a right nightmare. But just first of all, let's just garner your thoughts on a disappointing end to the season. We were at the last game and I felt a game that didn't really sum us up really because the scoreline definitely didn't didn't sort of show what was on the pitch and the effort given by the girls.
Yeah, obviously it was a frustrating season and for everyone. Really tough. We had a lot of problems, a lot of injuries, we've been talking about it the whole year now and it sounds as excuses, but I think I mentioned it last time when we have like almost 40 different players playing for us this season. That shows that we couldn't find any consistency, and that reflecting a little bit these few days that we already finished. I think that gave us a lack of identity, and I think that was one of the biggest problems that we have this season. If you remember, probably last season we knew exactly the way we were playing. Everyone knew how we were playing, and this season I think we lack that. And obviously I have to take my responsibility on that because the manager, the head coach, and that's what I have to do. But yeah, it wasn't so tough season. But hopefully we can rebuild the team again, and we know how tough it is to get promoted again because only one team gets it, and it will be good teams in. We hope in that, as you said, we hope in the West League, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that's going to be hard because until you know what league you're in, and I guess it's your worst nightmare to think that you could be in a Western League again because it's just going to be even worse now with the sort of the level you're going to be at. Yeah,
and again, if it's sorry, I said the West before. We want to be in the East.
You want to be in you want to be in the South East, mate. You don't want to be in the West, no. Unless you're uprooting a team and calling it Worthing West FC or something like that, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, last time that Worthing wasn't at that level. It was in the S League, so hopefully in the East League. So hopefully they go back to that. Anyway, I don't think we will know yet because both leagues they still need to finish. They're not done yet, and I think until like at least mid or May or even the end of May, that league don't finish. So I guess we're gonna have to wait a little bit, but yeah, hopefully we go into the Southeast. It doesn't matter which way we go anyway. It will be tough. You always have in that leagues at that levels. You always have 2-3 clubs that they trying to go for it, and only one gets it. Only one gets promoted. We know pretty much you need to go unbeaten the whole league to get it. So we know it's difficult, but of course we're gonna try.
Oh, but hopefully you get in the southeast because that will mean less travel and it makes, I think, recruiting a bit easier for you as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You guys know this was one of our problems this season. It was the obviously massive traveling that we have. And I understand why a lot of players just decided not to be part of the team just because they didn't want to spend a full Sunday traveling to Bristol or Plymouth or where it was our league pretty much. So I understand that, and hopefully that's a problem that we won't have next season. I hope.
No, it's one of the things that is quite frustrating at this level, isn't it?
Yeah, because obviously some big clubs they can't afford it. They're good with it. We just face teams in our league with massive budgets. Realistically, Swindon, Moneyfields, Bristol, Bridgewater. They pay players and some of the players a lot of money weekly, and it's tough when you have to compete with these teams. So yeah, for big clubs or bigger clubs, it's easier, but for clubs like us, it's a bit more difficult. It's a bit more challenging.
And because also, I think obviously the results weren't going our way this season, but I think if it was, then suddenly travel. If you win away, suddenly traveling becomes a bit easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, of course, especially the way back.
Yeah. And if you
especially.
lose, it's a
Yeah.
long. It's still 4 hours, but if you win, it's easier, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's I say, if you go win and the way back, everyone is happy, everyone is still tired, and they will fall asleep anyway. But but it will be different. But yeah, I think it was a couple of moments during the season when we could get better results and we could probably turn it around a little bit. But we didn't. We didn't turn up that day, or for different reasons, we just didn't win some games that we probably deserve more, and we didn't do it. We didn't get it. And then this is the result. So.
Have you? It must be tough to say. Have you got any highlights you can remember the season? I mean, I know there's a lot more lowlights, but is there anything you can look back on and think, yeah, that was a good day, or
Yeah,
well done?
obviously we still have a good run in the FA Cup. That was beating two teams in our league in the FA Cup. For example, the one against Maidenhead that we beat them in the last minute with a great goal from Megan almost from the halfway line. That was probably the highlight of the season, if I'm honest. But I think we did some games. I think both games against Bournemouth Sports, we could get a better result. The last game against Kingston, we beat them at home and we could beat them away too. But yeah, we didn't. I think there are a few games that we deserve it a bit more. But as you say, yeah, it's more tough moments this season than actually highlights. But still some.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, it is heartbreaking, mate, 'cause it does hurt you, and we've obviously got to know you and a few of the girls over the last couple of years, and I know it must hurt. It's not something you want to put on your CV, but unfortunately, that's what football is. Unfortunately, sometimes, so it's really about rebuilding yourself and the team. So, what is the sort of process now? Like, what have you already started planning for next season?
Yeah, I mean, something that I do every season is that obviously what I normally do is leave the girls at least a couple of weeks to switch off and don't hear from me at all, especially this season. But then I start obviously talking to them, asking them some feedback from what they think about the season that it just finished. Feedback, positive, negative, everything, that their thoughts on it, and then obviously, well, if there are players that we want to keep for next season or not, and we have this kind of conversation that we already started. And planning in trying to plan pre-season training, trying to plan with get new players as well and recruit well. So we have to start. We have no time to waste.
No, there we go. Do you get a little bit of time off? Are you going back to the motherland this summer?
I'll try. I haven't decided just yet when. I think it's going to be in June at some point, but yeah, I have to actually, because this year I didn't go on Christmas, and since August I didn't go back yet. So it's going to be almost a year, and
no more stag do's or weddings to make it.
No, not this year. Not this year. So keep it like that. But, you know, still my mom wants to see me every now and then.
Guess
so.
you've got to see the family every so often, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Well, JC, it's been great chatting to you. Thanks for being so open and honest with us this season, and we hope to see you for more of that chat next year. But enjoy your summer. Hopefully, leagues line up. Hopefully, players line up, and we see a squad that can be promoted, sort of pushing for that promotion back to where we belong. And just make sure you say to the FA, please let us keep in the National League South East this time.
Yeah. Now, thank you guys, because you know, you always give us the opportunity to speak. You give us a voice as well. So. That's very nice. Actually, I don't know if I told you or not, but in one of the last journeys away, we found a fan. And when we started with the services, we found a Woking fan, and he knows me because of the podcast. So it was
really?
yeah, he lived up in the north. I don't remember exactly what city he says that he used to live in Woking, but he had to move up north.
Oh, amazing.
He told me like, yeah, I know you're JC because of the podcast. And I was like,
oh, brilliant. There you go. So we got at least one listener, mate.
At least one, yes.
We've got at least one listener. Oh, that's nice to hear, JC. But enjoy your summer. Love to the girls of the team and the rest of the coaching staff, and see you. Well, it'll probably be a few weeks. It'll be next to no time, won't it? Before we're talking again, won't it, Jaco?
Yeah.
Cheers, JC.
Thank you, and enjoy your summer as well.
You too. Cheers. See.
Bye.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Nice to hear from the girls and JC. It's such a sort of melancholy time when we're on such a high from the men's bit winning promotion, and obviously we're such a support of the girls team. But it's been a difficult season for JC and the girls, and it'll be interesting to see where they go from here.
Oh, I think we have to see for next season. Hopefully, the games will be a bit closer to home, so they don't lose the whole weekend. And I think if we go in the right league, it will attract more players, because A, we don't pay them yet, and B, if they have to give up the whole Sunday, you know, I think it makes such a difference.
And hopefully he'll be up there fighting for that promotion. It'll be good, won't it?
It will be really good, and hopefully they can recruit and attract a few more players over the summer. What really get them going again. I think they deserve it.
Well, one of the things that's been good this season is the sort of increase in press coverage. We've both been on BBC a couple of times this season. I luckily was able to commentate. Well, you're their sort of go-to guy on a Saturday after at full time. I'm the sort of I was asked to commentate again with Robin for the FA Cup game, which was a massive honour, and I sort of hope I did Pete proud, because obviously he used to do the commentary with Pete back when Rebel Yell launched. And
well, you say that, but the go-to guy after Dorking, I had a message.
Yeah.
Have you been at a game? Can you go on with the show?
Yeah.
I had no voice left, but yeah, it was good.
Very husky. And to be honest, your partner Terry even said I was quite good on BBC, weren't she, when I did the Forest Green Rovers commentary?
I can't remember that.
Yeah, shut up. She was commentating. Terry loves me. But yeah, we've had them. Obviously, they interviewed some fans. We've got Gary speaking on there. We've got the clips of Bigsy after the game. So let's hear some of the clips. Let's reminisce, take us back to Saturday a couple of weeks ago and reminisce on that. And then we'll go and speak to Robin Gray, who's the sports editor of BBC Sussex and Surrey.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
BBC Radio Sussex.
The weekend warm-up.
Hello there, good evening, happy Friday, 3 minutes past 6. Welcome to your weekend preview. So we're talking Worthing ahead of their big game against Ebbsfleet tomorrow. Let's speak to James, who's a Worthing fan, who joins us from the pub this evening. James, you're on mute to start with. You're doing this now, there we go. How are you? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
How's the pint going down?
I'm in the pub right now, Robin.
I am. Well, I did actually. I'll give you a secret to the listeners here. Me and James were speaking this week about whether we should do the show from the pub in Worthing this evening.
Yeah, well, you just wanted a pint from me, didn't you? After all, let me get in your commentary mic earlier in the season against Forest Green Rovers. This is payback.
Exactly. How are you feeling?
You know what? This feels like the night before Christmas. It really does, because it takes me back to 2 years ago when we were in the playoff final against Braintree. And the nerves were so high, and they're high now. I think we've been waiting all week. I've been fighting off a horrible cold/sinusitis. I probably hear it in my voice. And it's amazing to think this has come down. And by this time tomorrow, we'll know our fate, whether we're going to be champions or it's going to be the playoff.
This is the thing, isn't it? Because you've been here before. You haven't always been top, but you've certainly missed out in the playoffs. We know that.
Well, Robin, last year, obviously, we were in command and control before the last game of the season, and we defeated Enfield quite significantly on the last day. But Truro had a job to do, like we've got tomorrow. They were 3-0 up by about 20 minutes. It's exactly what the things about Worthing are going around thinking. We need to get a goal quite quickly to settle the nerves, because it's not just the fans, it's the players, I'm sure. They all know what the end result is, but I don't think my heart can take another playoff run again, because it's always been so close, but yet so far.
That's the thing, isn't it? And I did ask you heard Adam Hinshaw speak about it.
Yeah.
I had to ask him about it. You know, you've been here before. He's been there before. Your captain's been there before. But he says not all of the players have been there before. Is that good?
No, because obviously it's a mix of, like, you know, they could be so up for it. You know, they've never been in this situation. They could put a Champions medal around the net tomorrow. And I'm sure if you were a footballer, that's your dream, to have a medal around your neck, lifting a trophy in front of 3,500 people at your home ground in a part of Sussex that's really untapped, getting bigger crowds than possibly Crawley Town, for example, in the National League South. It's just crazy. So I think it's a good mix of experience and new players that will bring that to the team, will bring a fighting chance to get us to the National League, which has been. It's been coming, really, if we think about it.
Yeah, it has. They spent a lot of money as well, haven't they, to try and get...
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, with non-league, as you know, there's never sort of transparency about the money that's spent. But obviously, we sign players. Obviously, it's a full-time club now, by one or two players. They've set up well enough for the National League. Obviously, you've been to the ground a couple of times. You know what the ground's like. It's looking better than some Football League grounds. I mean, when we compare Hornchurch to the other team that could go up tomorrow, and you look at our ground compared to Hornchurch's ground, it's a different kettle. And, you know, that's another reason why we're so deserving of being promoted tomorrow. The effort that people like our outgoing C.O.O. Keith Mitchell, who's done a fantastic job for the club, and to get us to a level where we need to be to progress this club. George, Ralph, Barry, the chairman, they've done such a fantastic job to get the club to a level what we can all be proud of, and we'll be all behind the terraces come 12:30 tomorrow.
Just thinking about it, I mean, you do need to win, right? There's no doubt.
I know. There's no beat around the bush.
But Hornchurch have got Maidenhead. Maidenhead at 8th, and if Maidenhead win, they probably get in the playoffs potentially, right? Because someone in there might lose. So you could do it with a point. You never know.
We don't know. We have to go in there, but we have to go in there nothing but a win. It has to be. That's why you've got to look at it as a playoff final. You know, you've got to look at it. It could be hopefully our first one and only playoff final of the season, and our season will end tomorrow. Because, I mean, you don't want to. We could even win the league on a loss. You know, you could say if Hornchurch result doesn't go away, but you don't want that. The players need to go out as winners. They need to go out, which they are anyway. I mean, we can't be anything but proud of the team this season. They've been amazing. I mean, to think back in January when we couldn't pick up a win for love nor money, to think where we are now with a point clear at the end of the season is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
What will you do? What will your celebrations be at 2:30 if they do it? Well,
I've got to take the mascot around the pit. So
oh yeah, that's your job,
Mackie the mackerel. So it's a weird one because I obviously want to let through a hell of a lot of just emotion, but I haven't even thought that far ahead. You know what, Robin? I haven't thought that far ahead. It's just the sort of pre-match, watching the game. It's going to be so nervy. It's going to be so nervy, and you'll be there to experience it all. I know you'll be a Worthing fan, and I know you want the best for the club, so you'll see the emotion.
Until a week ago, I would have had to have been a Worthing and a Dorking fan because, you know, they're both our teams, but now Dorking can't really do it unless they win 30-0. Then I can be a Worthing fan.
Worthing tomorrow and then Dorking to the playoffs so they get there. That's a fair cop, isn't
good.
It?
But then I've got 4 teams, maybe 5 teams in the National League. If Crawley go down, then I'm stuffed. So,
well, you know you're a Worthingite through and through, really, and you want to come on my podcast anyway.
Exactly.
Don't you? So, you got to be a Worthing fan.
Exactly.
At least, there we go.
James, thanks so much for being with us. Enjoy your night. Appreciate it. That's James there, Worthing fan, with us on the weekend warm-up this evening. They've got a friend's birthday in Worthing tonight as well. So they're all going to the pub. And a lot of them are Worthing fans as well. I kind of wish we'd gone and joined them now. That would have been good fun.
BBC
I'm just going to ask Gary and Warren Aspinall just to come over here with me for a moment. Gary, you're a Worthing fan. You followed them through thick and thin. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, I've been coming in since 2008. So I've seen a few promotions, one relegation. That was in 2008, I think, or 2007. I can't remember now. But so yeah, it's. I remember, it's 200 people used to come here on a Saturday afternoon and 70 on a Wednesday or Tuesday night, whenever we played in the week, and it was nothing like this at all. This is incredible, really. The support is amazing.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? This is, I think, the biggest crowd that there's ever been at this ground before. A lot of people will be aware of the backstory to maybe this resurgence of the club, or maybe this new light of the club, and that comes through George, the owner, and the money that he put in from his tragic car accident. He's here today. There's also been a lot of local businesses involved, hasn't there? Just give us a flavour of the build-up to a day like today.
Well, we all got here about 10 o'clock to start doing our jobs here, and people were like queuing down the road by then, at 10 in the morning. In the old days, it would be like 200 people walking through here, and that'd be it, So it's great, really. I can't believe it, It's, thinking of all the people that have come and gone as well over the years, like looking down on us. So hopefully they're looking down on us today, and we can get the result we want.
Now you got a high vis on. That means you got to try and stop the pitch invasion, doesn't it? Afterwards.
Not at all. No. All
right.
I sell 50-50 tickets.
All right.
Nearly got it right, didn't you?
Good to see you, Gary. Good luck. You have got a 50-50. Does that mean me and Warren Aspinall can enter and you can fix the draw and we can win?
You can go in it, but you won't be able. We can't fix it. So.
It's worth a try. Good to see you. Good luck. Enjoy today.
BBC Radio 6.
Just going to try and get some more reaction when we can, Johnny, down here. But just to paint you a picture of the pitch at the moment, it is a sea of players all over the place. In fact, I've got someone who's going to be very happy with me live now on BBC Radio Sussex and Surrey. James Easton, you present the podcast. I know the Rebels Yells podcast, and you're here now. It must be quite emotional.
I've got a lump in my throat. I can't believe it. We've actually done it. I mean, first half you could tell we were nervy, but then we got that goal. And what, 2 goals, 2 brilliant goals. We could have scored more. I don't know how we didn't score more, but it wouldn't be Worthing to make it easy. But my heart, I think my watch has run out of battery for the heart rate. And my God, man, Robin, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
But that's the thing, isn't it? There was always that sick feeling coming into today, are they not going to get it over the line again? But once that first unbelievable strike went in, it did settle everybody down a bit, didn't it?
I mean, I said last night to you, it just felt like a playoff final. Everything about today's felt like a playoff final. We must win. Unbelievable, mate. I cannot believe we're actually going to the National League. And I don't know if you've heard, York had just conceded in the 95th minute. Rochdale have gone 1-up in the National League.
Wow. Yeah. It's all good. I mean, that's the thing. The National League, what an amazing advert it is for it at the moment, isn't it? And just to think, you're going to get some of the teams. You might get York down here next season.
Imagine York Worthing, the Hinchelwood. Oh my God, that's probably what he dreams of. But I just can't believe it. This is what we've been dreaming of for 4 bloody years. Sorry, 4 years.
That's all right. We can deal with that.
4 years. At least it wasn't the other one. But I just can't believe it, Robin. It's just. I mean, look at this. This is just record attendance today. 4,002 to see the Rebels go to the National League. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah.
How many pints are you going to have tonight?
I haven't had one yet, but I'm going to have one to settle a nerve. But I think it might be champagne.
Champagne.
Are you buying? Have you got any on the budget?
Are
you coming down the pub tonight? Are you coming down the pub tonight?
I have seen some champagne in the dugout in there down here, though. Take care.
This is the Rebel Yell Podcast.
BBC Radio 6.
Let's speak to Yakko, a Worthing fan. Hi, Yakko.
Hi, Robin. How are you doing? You alright?
I'm good. It's nice to speak to you. I saw you in the far stand today. I told you to get there very early. How were you feeling at 10 o'clock, and how are you feeling at 5 o'clock?
I was feeling better than last week, because I always thought Maidstone would be the harder game for us. I thought Ebbsfleet was an easier game. Not easy, but easier. And then when kickoffs came, I felt a bit nervous for the first 10-15 minutes. I thought Ebbsfleet were the better team, and then it started all to come together. And I feel over the moon, actually. It's hard to believe we won the league.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have followed them. How long have you followed them now?
8-9 years, something like that.
Wow. So you've seen it. It's interesting, actually. I'll ask you a bit more on this. There's a lot of people today who said to me, I've followed them for 8 years, for 10 years, for 14 years. Take me back to that era then. Where was the turning point for the club?
I think just before COVID, when COVID hit, we were top of the league in the Isthmian, about to go up again. Everybody else, the season got stopped. Then the season got curtailed. We didn't go up. Then the next season we played a couple of games and got stopped again. And I think that was really where things started to come together, just after COVID. Just before COVID had started, and after COVID, the club continued the rise. And, if you think about it, we only played 4 years in the National League South and got promoted today. I think this is marvellous.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So are you going to town with them all? Is that the plan?
No.
Because I think they're all at is it Towering? Where is it they're going?
They're going to the Thieves Kitchen in Warwick Street.
That's it.
But we decided, we have got a group of people we always stand with. We decided to go for curry tonight, regardless what the result will be. So that's what we're doing. We're going for a curry in a bit.
Very nice. What are you gonna have it for on your curry? Are you a korma man, or are you something a bit more spicy?
A bit more spicy, but I don't know. I'll see it when I'll pick up the menu there. But whatever I'll have tonight, it will taste wonderful.
Amazing stuff. Jaco, brilliant to speak to you. Thanks for being on with us. Enjoy the celebrations. Let's speak to Big Z. Hi, Big Z. You're a Worthing fan who's with us as well.
Hello there. Yes, I'm here, and I am in absolute party spirits here down at the Towering Club in Worthing. And the manager of Worthing FC has just rocked up.
Brilliant. Who's there then? Hinch? Who else? Is Jack there with him?
Is here. John Meaney's here. Who else? Cam Morrison is here. And a few of the players. Joel Colburn, the captain. O'Day Sorondo's turned up as well. They're all piling in. It's absolutely fantastic here. The atmosphere is gone up another notch.
That is brilliant, isn't it? Can we talk about Joel Colburn, because he's the one I got a soft spot for. I've been to him a few times now, and obviously he's been there for ages. So he's had all that heartache, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been here quite a long time. He's gone through the promotions before with us. He has threatened to leave on numerous occasions, but he's always been persuaded to stay with us. And I think that's been the best decision he's made, because now, after this promotion, what more could he want?
Well, the other caller we had on suggested that maybe we should have a statue for Adam Hinshelwood. Would you back that?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. If the club could get a corner for it to go in, I can hardly hear you. There's the cheers and the songs going on. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Brilliant stuff. Listen, Big Sam, I'm going to let you go and enjoy it, but I'm going to tell you, answer me this: are you going to get in the playoffs? It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It's fantastic here. The atmosphere is perfect for today.
That is what it's all about. Are you going to get in the National League playoffs next season?
Oh, I say we'll have to take that one step at a time, I think. But hey, getting into the top half of that table would be fantastic, and staying up there. That's
now, do me a favour. Do me a favour. Go to the bar and go and get Adam Hinshelwood a drink. All right?
Oh, he's going to have lots of those. Believe you me. He's actually brought the trophy with him, and we've just filled it up with beer.
Brilliant.
We're taking it in turns. The pictures will be doing the rounds. We're taking it in turns now, having a slurp from it. Absolutely fantastic. And we are your champions in the background, as you can hear.
Right, you go and enjoy it. You deserve it. Big C, thank you so much. Big C, the Worthing fan. Thank you. 0800 232 1045. The contrast in emotions tonight.
This is the Rebel Yell Podcast.
BBC Radio 6.
But right the way through the football pyramids, stories always throw up amazing moments, and there was one such day on Saturday. Let's revel some more in the success of the Rebels again now, because for the first time in their 140-year history, Worthing FC have been promoted to the top flight of non-league football. This is the changing room after the final whistle. And the celebrations continued in the pub as well. This is after Worthing FC beat Ebbsfleet 2-0 in front of a sellout crowd at Woodside Road on Saturday. We broadcast the game live. Here come the highlights.
Maybe he will shoot. No, he puts it into De Graaf. Blocked by the defender. Comes back again. Oh, what a strike! Absolute dynamite from Joe Cook. What a goal to open the scoring here at Woodside Road. Worthing 1, Ebbsfleet 0. De Graaf, edge of the box, onto his left foot. Oh, it's another absolute blinder from Worthing. Could that be the goal that sends them to the National League? Razak, Coleman, De Graaf take a bow.
You might have to give them the right manager a ring. I'll tell you, he should be in the Football League, that's for sure.
Blows the whistle. Full time here at Woodside Road. Worthing 2, Ebbsfleet 0. They have the win they needed. Mission accomplished for Adam Hinshelwood, and a new chapter will begin for Worthing Football Club. They will grace the national stage for the first time in their history next season. The fans run onto the pitch.
The boys, I don't know what to say about the boys. We've done it. We're actually going up like mental.
Oh, I'm so proud of the boys, and it's been so emotional over the last 4 seasons. One hell of a journey.
George Dowler is the owner of Worthing with us. Wow, huge congratulations. You've finally done it.
Just absolutely buzzing that it's done. As much as I came in at the time and saved the club saved me. I was in a difficult point of my life as well, and sort of stuck at home twiddling my thumbs, not really knowing what to do with my life. And when the opportunity came up, I took it, and I'm so grateful that I did for days like today.
Oh, that's so good to hear from George Dowell, isn't it? Right, here's the manager and his son. We've got Adam and Jack Hinshelwood here.
It wasn't that long ago. I remember us, and Jack used to come and watch grass pitch. Not as many fans, like the stand was falling down, and today to see so many absolutely packed out and to get to the first tier of national non-league football is phenomenal, and one was for this club.
Jack, how proud are you, your dad, today? What he's achieved?
Yeah, so proud. I think obviously he had a tough start to the season, and when he come in at Worthing, I think you see the difference that he made when he come in straight away.
Well, let's get some more reaction. James Easton is the host of the Rebel Yell podcast. Hello, James.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing, Danny?
I'm great. How's your voice? Tell us what Saturday was like for you.
Well, I'm just having a coffee, which is probably the first non-alcoholic drink of the week, and it tastes very nicely like promotion, I'd say.
Great stuff.
It was an amazing. It's just, if it doesn't feel real, it really doesn't feel real. And sitting here listening to those montage of clips there, it's just been what a memory to relive it. And I can't believe we're in a National League.
Okay, and what does that mean next season for the team and their supporters?
I mean, we're going to grounds that you'd never thought a few years ago we'd be going to. Some of these sort of stalwarts of English football clubs that have unfortunately had some terrible times, but who used to play professionally in the Football League. We're going to go and be seeing them as a Worthing fan. I mean, it's going to cost the wallet a lot more, I'm not going to lie, with the distances, but what excitement we've got to do next season.
I mean, Morecambe, Southend, Forest Green Rovers, Scunthorpe. I mean, there's some big trips in there. I suppose that the advantage of playing in the South League, you weren't too far from home sometimes, but you got some long trips there.
Oh, we have indeed. I mean, you look at it and, playing Gateshead, for example, I mean, that's a journey. We thought Truro a couple of years ago was a long enough journey, but Gateshead's going to be long. But, you just look at these and think, wow, with like the people that I've watched over the last few years, the game with, and, we're coming to watch Worthing in some of these amazing places around the country is just, what everyone dreamed of and possibly thought at one stage after the heartbreak in the last few seasons that would never happen.
And how long have you been following Worthing FC?
Well, I started following them when I moved down here in 2017. So pretty much one of the first things I did, I said to my wife one night, I was like, there's a local football club, I'm going to go down and watch it. And I was hooked ever since. And I've made some fantastic friendships. As you said, we do the podcast. The love for the club is unreal.
that's probably about the same time period as that George Dowell has been in charge. So it's been a big change, hasn't it? And just give us a thought about him and what he's done for the club.
I mean, you look at it and, I've got to know George very well over the years. He's always such an approachable guy. Obviously now with more and more people there, he's less available, as he was before, after games before. But, you look, I just look back at the COVID years, for example. We were with Hinchelwood and we were sort of top of the Isthmian League, and we got that ripped away from us twice. And then when we finally got that over the line, we couldn't believe it. But, just the transformation George has done around the club and, just brought light to such a fantastic football club in a town that hasn't got a professional football team with such a big sort of GDP and area and people that live here. You think about it, you think this is literally what dreams were made of, and there's no surprises. There's a documentary made about George, and there's a film. Jason Mazza, the director and actor, has confirmed yesterday they're about to start shooting this Hollywood film with about George, which is just going to be amazing and put the town on the map once again.
Wonderful stuff. Enjoy that coffee, by the way. Thanks. James Easton there, host of the Rebel Yell podcast. If you want to add your congratulations to Worthing, get in touch, 0800 232 1045.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Well, Jacko and I like to bask in our glory of being on the BBC, and I think the amount of clips we just played, I do think Jacko and me deserve some sort of royalties, but being sort of taxpayer and TV license, I don't think that's something we'll get from the BBC. But someone I can get from the BBC is Robin Gray, who is, right, before I get the title wrong, Robin, maybe you should introduce yourself, because I want to know what your title is. I know you've told me it before, but I know I'll cock it up. What is it, Robin Gray?
It's sports editor at BBC Sussex and Surrey.
Well, don't forget the last one, because we don't really care about that county over there. I know you said to me off the air you had to care about Dorking until they left the playoffs, but now you're fully BBC Sussex, mate, Radio Sussex. That's all we're talking about today. But welcome to the Rebel Yell podcast. I know we've tried to get you on a few times this season, but you do sport for a job, mate. So it's not really the easiest to get you. I mean, I do think, to be honest, it's a bit rude when you want to go on your own radio show and not come on the podcast instead. But who am I to judge, eh?
It's a pleasure to be here, and you guys have been amazing with us all season. From the minute I started in September, took over there, and then I think so early on, wasn't it, that Forest Green?
Yeah, well, what was nice about that, mate, is obviously, as I said to you before, like, I used to do the commentary with the late Peter Vale, the late great Pete Vale, who has been in our thoughts a lot over the last sort of couple of weeks, because we know how much he would have loved to have seen that running, and he started off the Rebel Yell live service for the commentary when we were in Isthmian League in 2020, and I joined in with him when I could, and it was so much fun to do, commentating on moments before. But to be on like the BBC was not only a privilege, but I think you said I did an okay job after all, didn't I? I mean, one of my ears was blown out, but those microphones, but it was a fun. I'm just gutted you didn't put it on Listen Again. I just think that's just a bit rude, Robin. Do you know what I mean? but
so you're a top. You're absolutely brilliant. And do you know what? It was a great night. I know the result wasn't, but I thought what a brilliant night it was for town. Yeah, it was great for us. And it's interesting because a lot of people ask me, how many people listen, things like that. And that night for it was just an online commentary, so that's why it wasn't on Listen Again. And we got a couple of thousand people listen to that. And when you think of the fact that Forest Green Rovers through BBC Gloucestershire do their own commentary, I think that just shows that the interest there is in Worthing, and maybe the FA Cup potential giant killing that night. But yeah, it was a really, really big night, that, and you were good enough for me to ask you again, eh?
Yeah, and they were sat behind us, Gloucestershire, weren't they? And I was like, I just wanted to turn around and pull their plug out when they went up. But I think I'd never have thought you would never have spoken to me again, would you? But it was. I mean, that was your first time at Woodside, wasn't it? Am I right in saying?
Do you know what? It wasn't, and this is the interesting thing. Yeah, so I actually, my story with how I came down to this area of the world, you probably tell from my accent, I'm from other parts. So I'm from Staffordshire originally, near Alton Towers is the best way to describe it. And I originally came in to work for BBC South East Today, who most people in Worthing won't be able to watch that because the pictures won't go that far, but they do colour Worthing.
Is that the one because it's weird that before Paul's there, because I know we put some stuff on South Today, but it was, I couldn't watch it because I'm in Ferring, which is the other side, sort of going towards Littlehampton way. But there was, I didn't see any of it, so I had to go on the iPlayer. Is that why there's this weird divide in Worthing? Isn't
Yeah,
there?
so there's sort of a line, and you're it, depending on where you are, what sort of TV you've got, or what provider you use, or how you get it, or what you've got it set to on BBC iPlayer. You'd either get maybe South today or South East today, and the sort of parameters around the sort of Crawley, down to Brighton, almost down the M23 really. But there are people who pick it up in other areas. But yeah, so it's interesting. But one of the first things I actually did, so I came down and did a 4 months of comment there on sport, which I loved. And one of the first things I did was went to your game in the playoffs against Maidstone, which was just over a year ago now.
Wet squid, damp squid, that was.
Yeah, that wasn't. But straight away, obviously, I've come in from covering football in Manchester, and I'd done a lot of non-league football before, but I was just blown away by obviously how many people were there straight away. And I think the vibe of the town, how the town's grown as well. I went to Worthing years and years ago, and unrecognizable in some ways, but still got a great feel to it. And so actually that was before, but yeah, I mean, I've been lucky. I've been 3 times, and let's say every time I've been, it's been for a pretty big occasion, so I've been lucky.
Yeah, you're not bad about choosing the occasions. I mean, you've lost 2, won 1, and seen a trophy being lifted, and I mean, you just sat there. I think what was brilliant is obviously had former Albion goalkeeper on commentary. Was it goalkeeper or striker? I can't remember.
Striker Warren Aspinall.
Warren Aspinall, and you were kind of like doing that roving reporter type thing down by the pitch, weren't you? Which I you know what, and a lot of us have said. And I know it's not you at Sussex. I know, there's so many teams to cover, but it's about bloody time Worthing got some coverage on sort of TV and radio in this area, because even speaking to Steve Bone in the Herald, they're realising now what a sort of big club Worthing is, and they need to get the coverage they deserve. And now BBC have done it. Let's hope Meridian and ITV, I know you probably don't like that M word, but rivalry and all that, but it's great to see it. It must be nice from you being sort of the sports editor, like to see you can actually support the growth of a football club which so rightly deserves it.
Yeah, there's nothing better than at the end of the day, we're all about trying to get people invested in what the sport is, and trying to explain that story to a lot of people maybe outside of Worthing as well, who don't get it, or people who don't even like football. And when we interviewed Adam Hinshelwood and Jack Hinshelwood together on the pitch after the game, videoed it, got all the celebration shots together, played it on the radio, and then turned it into a social media piece that's done like over 100,000 views on X, which is just bonkers, for Worthing. It's just amazing. And I think that's what we've learned through the season, is just like how many people now support Worthing, which is brilliant, and the fan base is growing. And it's interesting, like I've voxed a lot of fans, not just you, although you mostly, James. And
my little Dutch friend as well, Jack.
And your Dutch fan, yeah. But it's interesting that obviously loads of people say, I've supported them for 8 years, 10 years. You've got a few, but you won't hear many that will say, 40 years or whatever. And I think that's a really nice thing, because you feel the growth when you interview them. And yeah, for us, it's about representing where people are. And a lot of people are going to Worthing at the moment, so that's part of our job. And I think you'll see our coverage grow even more. Now you're in the National League in next season. That's definitely on the plan. But it is always difficult, and I'll say this, but you'll get this, because look how many Brighton shirts there were, on that day. And that ultimately, Worthing will always be slightly in the shadow of Brighton while they're doing so well like this. But I actually think that Brighton's rise and Worthing's rise at the moment is helping each other. And I think, as Jack Hinshelwood said, I can go and watch Dad on a Saturday, and then he can come and watch me on a Sunday now if Brighton get to Europe.
That's it, yeah. I mean, I think the thing is, it's what one thing that is weird for us is I've known Jack since he's a little kid, and he used to go and run on the pitch with his brother Teddy, who's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a up and coming Brighton and Hove Albion player as well. But it's weird. So whenever I see Jack, I'm not as starstruck as some people might be. Think, wow, that's a Premier League footballer on the pitch there with his dad. And he's part of the Hinshelwood clan, which I've known for years personally, and I think it's lovely to see. But having that story, and it's just such a nice story to have and focus on that sort of the Hinshelwood dynasty. The family have been in football for donkey's years, just through playing, managing, and it's just another nice Sussex success story to see as well. That not only is his father, after maybe leaving York in not the best of circumstances, and he was very complimentary of York getting the job done on the last game of the season up north, but to then come and do something which I obviously said, was it the right decision to bring Hinchelwood back, and was it the right one for him or him? I think we can all answer that question now and to say, yeah, it probably was. And to see those scenes on the last day was fantastic.
Yeah, it was. And do you know, I think with Adam Hinchelwood, an interesting thing, people I think have forgotten a little bit because of how early he left York in the season, how well he did in the previous season at York. You know,
Yeah.
they were so close then. And if you just take all the fact that he came back to Worthing and got you up, and the fact that he left York at the start of the season, and just look at that 24-25 season now, and look at it for what it is, you go, Worthing are in the National League, and we've now got a manager who finished that high up with York.
Yeah.
And that's a really exciting prospect. Yes, they'll need
Yeah.
players and maybe some more funding, but that's a hugely exciting prospect now. And you know, clearly he's a manager who, you know, I don't think he did a bad job at York, and I think that's the beauty of the fact that Worthing have got him, you know. And yeah, I think I'm really excited to see what they can do. I mean, look, I think survival is great, isn't it, for Worthing next season? But I think people will be dreaming of a little bit more because they just know that they're onto something good at Worthing. I know the retain list has just come out, but you know, it'd be interesting to see if you keep hold of some of those big players as well and how they make the step up, how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you say you go back to mentioning about, you know, there was obviously a lot of people in Brighton and Hove shirts and colours, and don't get me wrong, as a football fan who knows, you know, I support Charlton as well, but I still find it strange to wear colours of another team at another club, even and it might not be anywhere near rivals or any in the same league. I always find it weird, but I'm starting to see more and more now. Christ, I was driving the car the other day and someone was walking their dog with a Worthing baseball cap on, or you start seeing things in town. I think, and even people like Hinch have said this to us, this is when you know there's a change. You know, people are wearing the club's colours, and as you know, Worthing is a town. I think there's some sort of stat out there that it's the biggest town with the amount of people that live in it that haven't got a sort of full-time professional league football club or haven't had a full-time. And I think we're definitely well and truly on the rise. And as you say, with Hinch having his experience, yeah, the retain list, I mean, it's decimated the midfield. So we're going to have a whole new midfield, I think. And, you know, there are players that, you know, that are going to leave, going to come. But we're not just there to make up the numbers, I don't think.
No. On that, what we've seen, I was lucky enough to host the Worthing half marathon at the weekend, and I saw probably about 30 Worthing shirts, people just running in them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, would you run in your Worthing shirt? I don't know.
But I mean, I'm
you
not
know,
a runner. I mean,
great.
if I did though, you know, you get me running, mate. Maybe I would. If you get me on that, maybe I'll be on next year. I've already been on a bit of a weight loss journey. Maybe I'll do that. But I think,
but,
to be honest,
it's great though, isn't
but
it?
even in the Isthmin, even when we won the Isthmin, I don't think you would have seen that. I don't think you would have seen that when we won the Isthmin.
There's clearly been a change. I actually think it feels a little bit as if it's, you know, I've only been down here for 12 months, but I think I've felt it a little bit while I've been here, and yeah, anything that they. And obviously, the great thing that we're learning in football now, you know, loads of people can't stand Wrexham, but there's a story there. You know, loads of people won't like the way Birmingham City have done it, but there's a story there. Bromley, there's a story there. Worthing have a story. You know, we all know about George's story. We all know about Adam Hinchelwood's story. We all know about the town being the little brother story and growing, and loads of people wanting to move to Worthing now. You know, there's so many narratives around it. And in sport now, we're in this era where if you have a narrative around your club, then supporters, people, players, media, social media, whether it be TikTok, whatever, all grow towards it. And Worthing has got a lot of that now starting to fall for it. And I think that is another huge thing that I think it's got in its favour now. So yeah, it's huge. It's hugely exciting. And, you know, the whole, like, you go to Worthing and it, you know, you can't park. It's a nightmare. You know,
they could have sort that out next season
because it's real. It's real. Yeah. I love that you can't park there. You know, I love that you can go for a walk in the town and go to the pub for and do that, because there are loads of football stadiums where you can't do that now, and I think that's a beautiful thing as well.
Well, you're gonna have to when I was on the air with you on the sports show on the Friday before the promotion, and I was with my friends down the pub. You did say you were gonna possibly consider doing the show in the pub. You might have to do it next year, or we got to catch that pint anyway, haven't we, mate?
We have. I think genuinely, I think we have a Friday night show before the Saturdays, and I think if you guys will see when's fixture release date, you must know this.
Oh,
Tracy.
mate. Oh, God. It must. I think it's
June.
It's
isn't
June
it,
sometime.
usually?
Yeah, so it's probably not even
When they
that long
come out
away.
though, and we know when that first National League game is, that first
Yeah,
home game. I
yeah.
think we've got to do a little
Yeah.
little pre-show.
Do it down the
Definitely.
Taryn Club or something where we record the
Yeah.
podcast or something. It'd be fun. But Robin, it's you know, you look back on it and you know you've come down, you've been down covering us for a year. Obviously, I know with speaking to you on text the other day, you were at Farnham, which is another story, which is amazing. Like how they've sort of risen and now they're in the National League South, have come through the playoffs, and it's great. And another sort of team on the up and everything like that, where you've got a hotbed of people like Chelsea fans, you've got that sort of West London area sort of covering, like, you know, AFC Wimbledon, people all from that area, and even the London clubs. But you know, to see, as you say, Worthing on the rise, what does it mean for the BBC next season? So like, will we be seeing, like, you know, obviously it's not going to be highlight stories, but will there be a lot more on South East Today? Will there be a lot more on Radio Sussex covering the National League?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, Southeast Today were down there the other Monday doing a live, and you know, you think there's there's still a lot of non-league clubs around their patch, so that's really good. South Today have ran bits as well, so you know, I think already you've seen the media thing kind of build. We will undoubtedly want to do more coverage on Worthing next season. You know, it's no word of a lie. It's not a lie. The BBC is going through a little bit of a tricky time at the moment, and you know, there's obviously been various reports about 10% of its budget. Sort of, they're going to have to cut 10% the next sort of few months. So that may change the shape of things. But you know, we got a lot from doing that game on the radio as well, and doing the show there with the promotion game against Ebbsfleet. It was a fantastic day. People were winding down the window, you know, coming past our car on the way in, saying they've been listening on the way in. So yeah, we will be doing Worthing, you know, a lot more Worthing games next season. Whether that's all of them, I don't know, but I can definitely tell you we'll be doing more.
I mean, I think you should utilise your scope with your boss and say, I think you need to send me to Gateshead for the weekend in Newcastle to watch Worthing Gateshead, because I just think you need to get the ambience, or send you out to Manchester.
But you must be buzzing about these away trips, though, right?
Do you know what, mate? Like the thing is, it's crazy to think things like, you know, as saying as a Charlton fan, and you know, I saw Charlton win like League One against Carlisle United, and now I'm going to go and watch Worthing play there. And you know, you got teams like Gateshead that, you know, nearly got promoted to the Football League a couple of years ago, but weren't allowed to for their ground grading. And you know, I don't think I've told you, but my first intro into like radio and media was when I was at college and I was doing media studies. And me and my friend Graham, we used to go to Woking every week, and it was well before YouTube was really YouTube. We filmed interviews with their manager Glenn Cockrell, and that was my first insight to National League, like sort of non-league football. Used to go and watch the Aldershot derby and stuff. And now I'm going to go and see. I'm going to go to. I can't remember what their ground's called. It's something weird.
EBB.
What was the actual traditional name? Like we call it Woodside. What was it again?
I can't remember.
It's whatever it is. But it's like I used to go there and you know, watch them, and I'm thinking I'm going to go back to that ground as a, you know, a Worthing fan now, watching Worthing hopefully do well in the league against Jermaine Defoe, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
But that's the crazy thing. And one other thing I saw on the coverage, you know, we obviously are like BBC Sussex and Surrey and things like that. People know us as that, but we're bidding to obviously make a lot of what we do fit in with what people want now. And you know, reality is that radio listening has dipped. Like, people don't listen to radio as much. Numbers will show you that in the last few years. But for us, you know, the more stuff we can do via BBC Sounds, the more stuff we can do on social media. We have our X feeds where you will have seen loads of videos with Hinch, and we had Joel on. You know, we've had with Common de Graaf did a video of him that I think went quite big on there as well. So, you know, it's a lot about that, and also we want to give a flavour of what's going on around the club a little bit more as well, because match days are big, but at home games, a lot of people don't need a commentary service as much because they're there. Like you say, when they're at Gateshead, or when it's a Wednesday night in the week and something's going on with a club that we should be reporting there, kind of the interesting things. So, and you know, like you said, you were videoing stuff on YouTube, you know, back then, and that's kind of a lot of the way that media is shifting now. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, these grounds are going to be amazing.
I'm a
Definitely.
local. I'm a like radio. I grew up listening to radio. I was growing up in London. Capital FM 95.8 was my sort of, and that was when it was Capital Gold Sport with Jonathan Pierce and the
Yeah.
coverage of local radio. But I think it's just, and you work in that line of work, and you think it's got to be things like, unfortunately, social media, for having the phone in your hand, Spotify, TikTok, YouTube Music is what people listen to now. And we still listen to radio. I still listen to it. I like it. Obviously, I have got Spotify and stuff, but I still listen to it. One of the things that takes me back is Dr. Fox presents a network chart show on Nation Radio on a Sunday, and he takes you back to the 80s, 90s, and noughties, and it just takes me back to that Sunday when I was a kid. And I love local radio and local media. It's like talking to Steve Bone, the local journalist for the Worthing Herald. He was saying, even print media is suffering. So I think if anyone's listening to this, just try and listen to BBC, try and listen to the local radio. I mean, I know people listen to the national and Radio 1 and 2 and stuff, but listen to the local stuff, because it's still got its charm. And I think if you can, which it sounds like you are, but if you can include bits on Worthing that are going to people wanting to tune in, people are going to listen, and it's so nice to see. And it's great to hear such a variety of Worthing fans like ringing in, and you speaking to them, and you featuring on Raz's blog and everything like that. And I'm not inadvertently, but I did text you and say, "Oh, look at the blog."
Honestly, I'll tell you the story about that. So we were live, and I was live in the tunnel, like trying to grab.
Yeah, you kicked me off for him. You're not good enough for me anymore, James. Oh, Raz is here. Bye, James. See you later.
I think there was another fan as well when Adam Hinshaw came along. So I'm so sorry. We'll have to come back to you. But yeah, it was just mental down that chaos. And I saw him in the tunnel. So I got him, and I was trying to film it as well, so we could put a clip on our social media. So I was doing both. And then all of a sudden, like, this guy behind me started filming him as well. And then at the end, I asked him if he's staying, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know," and then like ran off.
Yeah. I saw that. That's the bit that was on the bottom. Yeah, you said you stayed.
Yeah.
I noticed in the list today, it said that came out. It was they extended his contract, so they had an option on it. Which I think was worth it, because I've said it many times. Raz has been quite hot and cold this season. He started off brilliantly. We felt when he went to the Ballers League for the first time earlier on in the year, he kind of went off the boil a little bit, and Hinch dropped him before the all-important Easter weekend at Eastbourne and against Dorking, obviously, and that's when he seemed to really pull his trigger, and I think he's one of the key reasons we went up. There's a lot of other players, but like we say about the retain list, there's obviously, it happens in football, there are going to be players that one I can say is Ode Martin Sorondo. And absolutely wore his heart on his sleeve. He loved the club. I know he'll be hurting right now, but unfortunately, they're the decisions you have to make. And I thought he might be a squad player. Jack Spong, who's been around for a long time, and it's sad because there are other players that have gone, but those two are hurtful ones, because a lot of fans have grown to love them, and that's just the nature of the beast, isn't it, Ron?
Yeah, it is. I mean, Jack Spong obviously played higher up as well, hasn't he? And
Brighton
got great ability. This is the thing, like they are now, they've done so well, and obviously they regularly recruited to be towards the top of the National League South, but now it's a total different beast, and that is going to be the difficult thing. Yeah, there are some massive teams in the National League. I mean, when you look at this season, I've watched a load of it, and it's just like League Two, There's loads of League Two teams who would get beaten by National League teams. Orem would beat Crawley 3-0 in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It's like it's common now. I think it's common knowledge. It's just an extended League Two. I mean, you even look at teams like Aldershot, Sutton, Gateshead, Eastleigh, Yeovil, Wilson, who all sort of stayed up as well. Obviously, like the job for Worthing and the teams coming up is to drag them into the relegation battle next year and move themselves higher up. But when you look at that top seven, it's frightening. Imagine if I'm sure Rochdale go up, then you've got Carlisle, you've got Southend, you've got Forest Green.
Yeah,
it's a mad league.
I mean, I'll have to have a vegan pasty at Forest Green. I'm not too keen on that, mate. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. I mean, Yako especially, he won't be happy he can't get his fried chicken or his hamburger there. He's gonna have to have a vegan burger, isn't he? And vegan beer. I just have to stick to the beer, because some beers are vegan anyway, aren't they? I think. But no, it's going to be, I mean, when you say that, it does sort of give you goosebumps to think that Worthing are going to be playing these teams next season. It's definitely going to be an interesting summer, I would say, because obviously they need to build a squad. A lot of players have gone today, and it'll be interesting to see if you have any sort of people coming back. I know one player that's out of contract at AFC Wimbledon is Omar Bougil, who obviously started his English at Worthing, and he's climbed up the leagues, done very well for himself. Imagine that story. He comes back to sort of finish his career at Worthing when they're in the National League. I mean, that would be fantastic. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see someone like him playing for Worthing. There'll be other players that have probably played higher up, actual Championship, League One. Do you think, bloody hell, they're playing for Worthing? Like 4 or 5 years ago, they're playing, in the Premier League or Championship.
What about the return of Danny Cashman?
Do you know what? I love Cash. I wouldn't be surprised if Worthing inquire, but I'm not sure because we saw aspects of it last season before obviously you moved down fully to Sussex, and I love Cash, got a lot of time for him, and I know he loves the club because he's been back a few times to watch us this season, but I don't know always if he had the right attitude, and there's nothing against the guy, and it's not that I'm saying it behind a podcast, I'd say it to his face. I think sometimes, there was that time he got subbed off by Aggie, and him and Aggie had a blazing row, and he was dropped for a couple of games after that, and then he came back and played really well. Is that the reason again why he's at this level? Would he do a job at the National League? He hasn't really had the opportunity to progress at Crawley. He didn't really play at Sutton. So could he hit it at that level when he hasn't really played last season? It's really hard because, as you know, it's a very physical league. And I think you look at the players we've released, Spong, O'Day, their height, they're quite short. Cashman was quite short. You need to have a big, burly midfield set up to try and stop those players getting past. So it would be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back. I think you'll see a lot of ex-Worthing players go up to Horsham, as we said. I think you'll see, some because they stayed up in the National League South, and fair play to them. But I'm sure it's going to be rumour mill central over the next few weeks and I'm sure we'll start making some signings. I think the window opens on the 1st of June, so it will definitely be interesting, Robin. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Busy one for your podcast then this summer?
Well, we're milking this promotion, to be honest, mate. I think we're gonna have, this is like the episode you're gonna be on is like the 3rd out of possibly 4, and we only do one a month, bearing in mind. So, but as we've all said, we've got to milk it every so often, haven't we?
100%. You got to keep celebrating it as well.
Yeah. I don't know how much more longer I can use that excuse from my wife, to be fair. But we'll probably do a live podcast to start the season, Robin. So if you are around for that, you're very welcome to come down. I know we tried to get in the last one and see, and I look forward to seeing you down at Woodside Road and possibly even up at Gateshead or Manchester or
who knows?
maybe not Yeovil. I can't be bothered for that journey.
No, I didn't. Yeah. I skipped Yeovil this season,
yeah,
so I might try and avoid that one.
But I'm sure we might see it at places like Woking or Aldershot because they're not far from your offices and stuff. So, but all I can say to you from the podcast is thanks for your support from us this year, and please keep it up for Worthing next year because we really I love seeing it in the press and stuff.
No, thank you. It's been great to cover it. Great football club, and great to have you guys off the podcast as well, which is also brilliant too. So no, thank you.
Robin Gray from BBC Radio Sussex and that other one, down the road. Thank you for joining us on the Rebel Yell podcast, and we'll see you soon, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Yeah, Robin's been great, and fingers crossed he does that pre-season show before the first game down in a pub in Worthing. We'll have to make ourselves available, won't we, Yakko?
Well, we will be available.
Pint on the BBC, they can't afford that anymore, can they?
Well, no, I'm not saying anything. But, it's nice to see that the club gets more press coverage. It's not just local press, but BBC's getting more interested in the club, and I think that's only a good thing.
We talk about local press. Steve Bone, who's the sports editor of sort of the Worthing Herald and all the Sussex papers, he's been covering us a lot. There's been news articles from various sources around. You had fans articles. I was asked to write an end-of-season article. It's just great, and reliving the last sort of few months and few moments of the season.
Did you use AI to do it?
No, I actually didn't. Funnily enough, I didn't. I use AI for most things now. I'm normally taking the piss out of people and doing silly memes, but no, this time I actually wrote it well. Journalist at heart, mate, but Steve's been great, and we've been trying to get him on the podcast for a while, and he's just been hard. He's a Pompey fan, so I know your son won't be too happy about that.
No, doesn't bother them.
But let's hear from Steve.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
Well, a very warm welcome to the Rebel Yell podcast. Steve Bone, who's a local journalist for the Worthing Herald and Sussex and all over Sussex. You'd have seen his name in the papers, certainly over the last couple of weeks, with some amazing stories and about the celebration. Steve, welcome to the Rebel Yell podcast. How are you doing?
Thanks, James. Yeah, very well. Thanks for having me on. Can't see any bunting or balloons still up at your place, or your face painted still? Can't believe
There's a reason. There's a reason
down.
the screen is blurred. So no, it's a mess behind me. That's why. But no, the celebrations have well and truly. Well, we're milking the podcast. This is the third episode we've done in the space of sort of 2 weeks. So
That's right.
we're milking it, and it's not often you come as champions. Well, Steve, we tried to. We've known each other a good couple of years now, and I think we first got in touch when the Herald kindly helped us with our Two-Faced Twins and Rebel Yell shirts we did for charity about 2.5 years ago and other things. And obviously I've done a couple of articles, which is Mr. Amateur here is very pleased I've actually made the press. I've got claim to fame there.
They've been very good.
So thanks for that. But we've tried to get you on a podcast a couple of times, but just like life in general, we've just never been able to sort of get things together, have we?
Hasn't happened so far, has it? But now that Worthing are champions and are going up to the National League, it had to happen, didn't it?
Yeah,
if we're not going to do one now, never will, probably.
No, never. We got to have a good excuse for it. Yeah, we didn't want to sit on the somber notes of last season and just missing out, did we? Really?
No, you've had a few near misses. I mean, one of the things I was going to say actually, and I'm hoping I'm not jumping ahead of your questions here, is that I think Worthing have done so well to go close 3 times in a very competitive league, and come back each time from that and go again, and this time they've done it again and gone one better and actually won it and avoided the playoffs, which I'm sure all the fans are delighted by.
I'm so
not just because they've gone up, but because they don't have to face the agony of the playoffs. But it's an incredible 4-year record they've got.
It is, isn't it? I mean, it's like to be fair, like I generally. When we were having that really good run when Hinch came back, and we couldn't stop winning and scoring, and then it all came to halt in January. I mean, I think no one can really deny that we thought we were probably going to smash this league and we might be champions by sort of February or March the way we're going. I think we got a bit ahead of ourselves, and then we started worrying, actually, we need to fight for second now. And it was that turning point of the Easter weekend where we played Eastbourne and Dorking, where I think that sort of reality came back, and obviously results going our way. Actually, we're in the driver's seat and we can do this here. But to avoid the playoffs, Steve, is just the best.
It was an odd season, really. You can almost break it up into sections, can't you? You had the opening few weeks when Chris Haggerty was still there, which weren't too bad, but they were a little bit up and down, weren't they? You were sort of mid-table, just above halfway, I think, for a while as well. And then you had all the sort of unexpected departure of him to Sutton. You had Temi being sold as well, which I think was quite a big thing and seen as quite a big blow. And at that point, start of October, when Aggie was still there, I think Worthing fans were probably thinking, oh, well, okay, if we get to the playoffs from here, that'll be okay. That'll be a good effort again. But I don't think too many people were expecting a title charge from there. Adam came back, and I think, you'll tell me if I'm wrong, but I think most Worthing fans were delighted to have him back because he did so well here before, and he's such a sort of familiar figure around the place, has been for a long time. Yeah. But I think there was probably still some doubts as to whether it was the right thing for him and the right thing for the club. The manager's returning doesn't always work, does it? You see it at all levels. You see it at Premier League levels right down to grassroots. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Same with players returning. So I think there were a few doubts, and I'm sure Adam had a few doubts as well in his mind. He was impressed, wasn't he, by what he saw when he came back and was thinking about taking the job. But then after the FA Cup game with Forest Green, when I don't think Worthing actually played too badly, just got done by a more clinical team. The run that Worthing went on after that was just incredible. It kept mounting up, and I remember, I think for the first month or so, every result was sort of slightly better than the last one. It was a 1-0, then a 2-1, then a 3-1, a 4-0 and a 5-0 and so on. It was quite a sequence there. And was it just one defeat, I think, between...
there was one defeat.
Was it Torquay?
The trophy. There was a trophy as well.
Oh, the trophy.
Yeah, and we got knocked out to Gloucester in the trophy, which was that was just December, I think, beginning of December.
Yeah.
And there was one other league defeat, which I think you're right was Torquay. I think it was a very narrow margin.
But at Christmas and after the home win against Dorking, top of the table, and I think everybody then thought, right, we're going to go on from here. We will win the league with a bit to spare, and then it just all came to a halt, didn't it? I speak to Adam for a back page piece for the Herald every week, pretty much. Don't miss him many weeks. He's very good. He'll always pick up the phone and talk to us. And it was noticeable that during that good run in October, November, December, he's not one to get carried away.
No.
His feet are very much on the ground, which I think is good. I think that probably helps keep the players that way as well. So he wasn't getting carried away. He was enjoying it, and he was pleased by how the players were responding to him, because a lot of those players weren't players that he'd brought to the club, so you never know how that's going to go. But then when I was still speaking to him during that bad run in January, February, and what was noticeable then was that he was scratching his head a bit, because he didn't really feel the team were playing badly. There might have been one or two off days, but generally they would. I remember he said quite a few times, between the two boxes there was nothing wrong with their football, but they were letting in silly goals, they were letting in soft goals. In some cases they were letting in unlucky goals, and they just weren't taking the chances at the other end like they had been in the first half of the season. Brad, who'd been scoring every week, ran into a bit of a drought, didn't he?
Yeah.
Others weren't stepping up and scoring. But he never got too downcast from the conversations I had with him in that spell, because he could see that the effort was still there, the work rate was still there.
Yeah.
And there was still a bit of belief there, I think. And when they finally started to turn it around again, end of Feb, start of March, a couple more home wins, it just took off again, didn't it? And you needed another run like you'd had October, November, December, and you got it. So unusual, really, for a team to win the title, having had a 2-month bad spell in the middle of the title. That just shows how well they were doing either side of that.
Well, it shows. I mean, we look at that. You say that the run started again, but then we had that awful performance against Enfield, and I wasn't at that game because I was working. But a lot of my friends went, and they said there is no way that's the end of the run. There's no way. And then obviously the following weekend we had Eastbourne and Dorking, and they were like, we are going to get turned over by Dorking. But it's almost like, I don't know what happened, and obviously being knocked out of the Sussex Celia Cup to Three Bridges, and obviously Hinch sort of almost, you saw him almost lose his almost cool in the interviews and stuff like that, and you think he just sort of had enough, and you don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but something's obviously happened that's kicked something up their bums and gone, right, we're so close now. But what I was going to ask you, Steve, is obviously you talk about you speaking to Adam every week, and I don't know if you noticed at the beginning of the season, because we definitely noticed while doing the podcast, that Aggie didn't seem his usual self. He had just signed a new contract in the summer, to extend his tenure at Worthing. But we saw him on a personal side at the end of at the end of last season, and you could tell how much the loss against Mason and not winning the lead had hurt him. But we felt when we interviewed him for the first couple of episodes, he just didn't seem his normal self. Now, did you notice any change in him and that, and maybe the pressure got to him or something?
I definitely think that missing out on the title last year, when it was kind of in Worthing's hands, wasn't it? There was a point with about 3 games to go, I think, where Worthing knew if they won their games, they would win the title.
Yeah.
And then they didn't win. They had a couple of draws in games they could have won.
Lost against Hornchurch and stuff.
That's right.
And Welling.
And was it a draw with Eastbourne Borough? Where
we lost at Welling
on the day when others won. And so,
well, the thing is, with Eastbourne Borough, we actually went top of the league when we drew with Eastbourne Borough, because Aaron Racine came back and got sent off, and we were lucky to get that point because Eastbourne were right up there with us. But then a mistake by Lucas Coverlan against Dorking sort of kind of scuppered the chances, because we were the better team against Dorking again, and that was when I think the title dropped. Yeah,
so I think towards the end of that season, Chris thought that Worthing were going to win the title. He thought they were good enough to do it, and he worked out how many wins were needed. He kept telling me, some way before the end of that season, he said, if we win 8 of our last 13 or whatever it was, we'll be champions, and so on and so forth. And that's almost the way it worked out. So to lose the title like that, which I then think don't know if it affected him, but I think it affected the team in that playoff eliminator against Maidstone. That was quite flat, wasn't it?
That was awful,
from what I remember seeing of it and hearing about it. So maybe there was just a bit of a hangover from that setback had carried on into this season. I mean, he went about his business last summer. He made some good signings. There was quite a bit of change in the squad, wasn't there? But the start of this season, you're right. Maybe it was a bit of pressure showing because it wasn't quite the same. Chris was always someone, he was like Adam, really, or will always talk to us, will never sort of shy away from a phone call from me for some stuff for the paper and for online. He would be as happy to talk after a defeat as after a win. Generally, he could on occasions get a bit defensive. If you suggested that something was wrong with the team and it wasn't, he could get a little bit defensive. That's quite normal, really. Being a football manager is there's a lot of pressure involved, and there's a lot of different sort of plates you have to spin all the time, and dealing with the media is one of them. And you have to cope with that, and you have to get on with it. But yeah, the start of this season, it definitely didn't seem to be quite the fluency to what he was getting out of the team. He was here until very start of October. There was a lot of football still to be played, so it's impossible to know what would have happened if he hadn't gone to Sutton, and if Worthing hadn't had the vacancy and brought back Adam.
That's true.
Yeah, something changed.
Yeah, what we noticed is obviously Adam made a lot of Aggie signing work even better than Aggie did, which was because obviously Adam inherited his squad, and that was mainly the squad that went on to that ridiculous run we had. And it's amazing, almost like a change of manager kicked some life into the players, because they're the ones that Aggie signed and scouted, and and obviously some didn't make it in the end, and they went and sometimes we thought as fans at the end of the season, they're trying to get this over the line here, but they're just throwing anyone at it. We made a lot of signings in a short period of time, but it transpires that those signings were the right ones.
Yeah, it's very difficult when you change manager mid-season. You can't a new manager coming into a club in October he hasn't got time to sort of build his own team, so he has to work with what he's got. He can make changes over time, obviously, as Adam did. Brought in a couple before the turn of the year, and a couple more sort of end of Feb, start of March. People like Victor, who made a difference. But that's not an easy task for a manager to go back to a club and be dealing with a lot of players that another manager assigned. So I think Adam deserves a lot of credit for that. And perhaps we should also say Chris deserves some of the credit for signing some of those players who have gone 100%. On to do very well this season. It's not a black or white thing between one manager is great and another manager is terrible. They've both had their strengths for Worthing that have all sort of added up with other factors to sort of create the title win.
Well, as Adam Hinchwood said in his sort of post-match interview, that Aggie and Dean had set the foundations of the team that went on to win the league. So he can have a hand in that, as well as some of the players that were no longer at the club at the end of the season. People like Toby Byron, he won Player of the Month in January or December, I think it was, and he was fantastic, and he's doing well at Sutton. But we all wish the best for Aggie, and I think it's one of those funny things. We had he had big shoes to fill. Obviously, we'd been in the playoff final and taken to there by Buddy and Aaron Racine, club legends themselves, and they didn't stay on, and Aaron stayed on as sort of Aggie's assistant. And I think a lot of fans, because Hinch had been around so long, maybe a lot of fans didn't give Aggie the time he needed to sort of adhere himself to the fans. And the problem is now, is, as speaking to the chairman Barry Hunter, he said the problem is now with next season, a lot of Worthing fans, obviously, I've been going to Worthing since I moved down in 2017. I've seen the club grow significantly. I went on a Tuesday night, we were getting 300, 400, 500 in the Isthmian League against like some Bowers and Pitsea or something, and now we've got 4,002 at our last game of the season. One thing that fans are going to have to get used to is that we're not going to be winning every week. We're going to be playing teams that are going to walk us off the park. We're brand new, but I think the positive thing, getting sort of soundings from the board, is that we're not here just to make up the numbers. It's not going to be instant, like straight up in the playoffs, like surprisingly happened in the 4 years we were in the National League South, because none of us expected that. We thought mid-table first couple of years and maybe build. But were you sort of surprised to see sometimes some negativity from fans over the course of the last couple of seasons, bearing in mind where the club have come from?
No, because I wasn't surprised, because I think expectations of fans grow quite quickly when a team does well. If a team has a good season, fans think it's going to be like that every season. If a team wins a cup or a league one season, they think they're going to win something every year. And football's not like that. It doesn't work like that unless you're at the very, very top and are winning things every season. So I think this is a bit of a generalisation, but probably the Worthing fans who who got a little bit negative and a bit edgy about bad runs of form, in this season just gone, as well as previous ones, I think are probably more recent Worthing fans. I don't know if that is a fair thing to say. I think fans who were there in the sort of Isthmian Division 1 South days, and in the sort of 2013-14 time, where the club very nearly went even out of that league and had to start again, and things got a bit dicey. I think fans who were around then and were around before it have probably appreciated the success and the rise and the constant, season after season of being at the top a bit more than those who have come along more recently. Also important to say the fans who have come along more recently are very important to the club. The club has needed those. You can't get to where Worthing are now without strong numbers in the support. The fact that Worthing broke their own attendance record, I think 3 times last season, including on the other Saturday, is quite something. But we've done a couple of bits with Barry Hunter, and I know you've had him on one of your podcasts, and he's talked about how they need to keep filling that stadium as much as they can, and they need to look at how they can get a few more in, because if you look on that Saturday, not only was there 4,000 people in that ground, there was quite a few hundred or maybe a few thousands around the town watching in the pubs and everything else, and then celebrating afterwards. So there's great potential there.
Yeah.
But yeah, with success comes expectation, and when those levels are not sort of lived up to by the team over a short period of time or a longer period, then there will always be a lot of disappointment. And there will be some fans that probably get things out of proportion a bit and say, right, time to sack the manager, time to start again, time to get a new team. It's not working. But yeah, you're right. Next season is going to be different. I doubt very much that Worthing are going to be in the top 8. They might be. They might surprise us.
You never know.
You look at Boreham Wood this season.
Oh, wow. What team to model yourself on.
Can take a bit of inspiration from that, I suppose. Ian Hart did an interview with Adam for us, which has been online and is in. If you don't mind a shameless plug, we've got an 8-page celebration pull-out on Worthing and on the title in this week's paper, the May the 7th edition of the paper, and Ian's full interview with Adam is in there. And Ian asks Adam, what will success look like next season? And he says to him, would you take being top of the bottom 8 and maybe a little cup run or trophy run? And I think Adam says, probably would, actually, because if you can finish a few places above the relegation zone, you've done your job for the first year, you've survived, plus a little bit more. But for fans, that will not mean winning every week. That will mean sort of winning one game in 3 or something. And it will be a hard watch at times. There'll be games where Worthing are second best. I'm sure they'll compete and they'll give their all, but there could be a couple of 4-0 defeats on the road. There's some big clubs up there that they're going up to play, so people do have to temper those expectations a little bit as well.
And we go straight into the third qualifying round, the FA Cup, so we can we're one away from the first round proper again.
There we go then. Yeah,
there we go. That's a nice one to do.
Get TNT Sports at the ready to come down for another big game.
I think I love it. They do have a nice. That's one thing I miss. I'm sure you can say, and I know you work in the media. I'm not asking for a comment, but I do miss the TNT coverage of the National League and National League South. I just don't think DAZN at the moment do it justice, which is such a shame.
No, I've heard it. I don't watch DAZN myself, but I've seen a lot of views along the lines that you've expressed there. Goes with the territory, doesn't it? Fans have never been able to choose the TV company. No, they wish they could.
And it's a long contract. It's a 10-year contract, I think, or something.
Is it really? Yeah. You, unfortunately, TV companies throw so much money at football that they get their own way. If they want to move a kick-off time to a Thursday evening from a Saturday afternoon, they will do. And there's not a lot that fans can do about it. But, being in the National League, the Worthing will get more. Yeah. Whoever it's with, they'll get more TV coverage next year. They'll also get more radio coverage. They'll get more newspaper coverage and everything else that comes with it, and there'll be more of a presence online. So take the rough with the smooth, I suppose.
I think you look at it and just talk about the National League
in general on the last day of the season. You can imagine if that was like a TNT or a Sky Sports type broadcast, you would have people at York, because obviously the York Rochdale game, and obviously we know how that ended. You'd have probably people at Hornchurch, you'd have people at Worthing, South Shields and Fylde up north. That would have been, a proper good broadcast, kind of like when you used to get the old days of the Premier League and like Super Sunday, the last day of relegation, and you get people going in and out. And I can't believe it wasn't until the week after Maidstone, the game, I think it was a couple of days after Maidstone, that DAZN said they were going to broadcast our game, and they were going to be doing just the Dagenham and Redbridge game, which was a nothing game against Slough, and it's just like, okay, you got the KSI link there now, but it does frustrate you sometimes. So at least every game will be broadcast on national. There'll be highlights and everything on the DAZN portal, but let's just hope they can build it.
It will be more accessible for people who are not getting to the games, won't it?
Yeah.
Which you have to hope, and Worthing will have to hope will sort of grow in the interest in the club, and probably there'll be people that have a look at a game on TV and think, oh yeah, I might like to go along to a game and get a ticket. So it's sort of you have to hope that sort of thing snowballs for them, really.
No. So Steve, how long have you covered Worthing in the paper for? How long have you worked for the Worthing Herald?
So it's a bit complicated. So I've worked for Sussex newspapers for 19 years now, coming on in 2007. But for the first 10 or 12 years of that, I just covered, we had a lot more sort of staff around the county, and I just covered Chichester, Bognor, Midhurst Observers. Then there was some cutbacks, and there was COVID, and there was lockdowns and everything else. And at that point, I became responsible for sport right across Sussex, West and East Sussex.
Yep.
So at that time, I took on a lot of sort of production work on the newspapers, and sort of responsibility for doing back pages. And that is when I started to talk to Adam on a weekly basis for the Worthing Herald. I'm not someone, people know this, I'm not someone who gets to a lot of games at Worthing. It's been a while since I was last down there, and I must put that right next season, certainly intend to. But I sort of oversee the sport pages of the Herald and our website as well, the Sussex World website, where we do all our local football and everything else. So I suppose you would say I've covered Worthing in the detail that I do now for 6 years, really.
So you've seen both promotions then, basically, and the heartbreak of the COVID years, haven't you?
Yes, that's right. The first two full seasons that I was covering, but were both unfinished seasons, with Worthing way out at the top. And that was hard, that was hard for Adam and for everybody down there, because they could see what they were going to achieve, and they kind of weren't allowed to go on and achieve it. And ironically, it was the same for Chris Agata at that time, who I was already speaking to, because he was at Hastings at that time, and they were similar in the division below at step 4. They a couple of times looked like they were going to win it and couldn't. And then of course 2022 it all came together. We finally got a season finished.
Yeah,
Worthing won it. I think with a couple of games to spare, if I remember correctly. And I think Hastings won their division on the same day, actually.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of
That's
symmetry
Faggy
there.
in charge there, wasn't he?
That's right, it was, yeah. No, actually, I think when Hastings got promoted, he'd moved on to his job at Stevenage, and another Worthing link, Gary Elphick. In charge of Hastings.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to sort of juggle all the balls, really, with a lot of different teams to keep an eye on, and we cover the lower steps of non-league as well, as much as we can. Your Lancing, Shoreham, Worthing United.
Well, I know. Obviously, you support a certain team across the border in Hampshire, and they have a song called "Play Up Someone." I can't remember what it's called.
So, yeah, you're on the right line.
Yeah, I'm on the right line. So it's definitely not Southampton. It's not red and white, is it? The further along Hampshire, is it? No.
There was a red and white team that we did beat a couple of times at home and away last season, but I won't mention them either.
Not too bad. We're not talking about that on the Rebel Yell podcast, are we? But I would say, I'd say it must be quite nice though, because obviously you have to remain impartial, and you know, as a journalist in Sussex, you obviously want to see Sussex do well, and it is pretty much a hotbed of football. We have seen the sad things of like obviously Lancing, Shoreham being relegated this season, which is a shame, because obviously, especially and did Littlehampton go down as well? I think
they finished in the bottom 4, but they believe they're going to get a reprieve at the moment. We're going to find out when the allocations are worked out, that they may stay at step 4. So
that would be good.
For some.
Yeah, it has, and obviously Bognor falling down the leagues, and obviously they survived in the South East Division, but honestly, it's amazing now when thinking about it, even when Worthing won the Isthmian, and to think like Bognor were challenging right up there with us for a while, and look at the distance between Bognor and Worthing now, and even just the infrastructure around the clubs, it's just amazing. And ironically, seeing Jack Pearce giving Joel Colbrand the trophy on Saturday was quite a nice little thing to see.
I mean, because I used to cover Bognor quite a lot. I used to go down there quite a lot, and I remember just after Worthing were promoted from Ryman Division 1 South to Ryman Premier, I think it was August bank holiday, would have been 2016. An early game for Worthing at the new level was away to Bognor, and Bognor won 5-0. And it was men against boys, really. And if you'd said then that, fast forward to 2026, Bognor would be at step 4, Worthing would be on their way to step 1, shouldn't think anybody would have thought that was possible.
Laughed you out the park, wouldn't they? I mean, don't get me wrong, I do miss the Bognor derbies because it felt like a proper derby. Like, we obviously have had Eastbourne, which, due to a bit of fan behaviour, has come a bit feisty in the last couple of years, and obviously Dorking with the A24 derby, and Mark White, and obviously last couple of seasons we've had Horsham, which is fantastic to see them survive in step 2. And I fully expect some of the releases from Worthing, and I'm sure you could probably agree with me, will probably end up at Horsham because why not? They're used to Sussex area, they might be local, and I wouldn't be surprised. And Dom's done a great job up there with Horsham, so it is a good hotbed for Sussex football. But before I let you go, Steve, I just wanted to sort of ask, so obviously we're a National League club now, and I guess you really haven't covered that level for a while apart from Crawley. Did you ever cover Crawley, or was that not your remit?
I didn't. Obviously Crawley were National League, weren't they, until about 2011, and we would have covered them then. But no, it's a long, you have to go back to 2012, I think, when Eastbourne Borough were at National League level for Sussex to have had a club at that level. So it'd be interesting.
Look again where Eastbourne have gone now, relegated after. And I think that's the thing we worried about at Worthing, because it was our first season of being full time. Would we have lost all these players, and then we'd have struggled next year, which I think's happened to Eastbourne. You see, they've been on a sort of trajectory up, down, and finally down.
Difficult for them.
But what I was going to say is, what are your plans for sort of next season? Obviously, biggest club in Sussex, bar Brighton and Crawley. It could have been Crawley and Worthing in the same division. Obviously, I'm sure we'll see a little bit more. You're great covering Worthing anyway. It's lovely to see, but I'm sure there'll be a little bit more coverage on Worthing. And do you fully expect? And hopefully, we get you down to Woodside as well.
Yes, we haven't quite worked it out yet, because obviously Worthing have only just gone up, but we've been thinking about it, and we certainly want to do more in the paper than we do at the moment. As I say, what I would say is that Worthing are on the back page of the Herald pretty much 52 weeks a year, but at the moment we've got out of the habit, and it goes back to COVID again, really. We've kind of got out of the habit of running things like basic match reports in newspapers, because there was a thinking for a while that people could read match reports as soon as the match is finished online, club websites and so on and so forth. So we've kind of gone away from that a little bit, but maybe we need to think about what we do. We'll still be talking to Adam every week. We'll still be getting his views. We'll still hopefully be getting some bits and pieces from him that people won't have read elsewhere. We'll still be using Jay Wright's excellent pictures. I'm hoping he's involved at Worthing again next year. He's been brilliant for us. Kyle Hemsley before him as well was very good, and Mike Gunn and others. So there'll be lots of reaction to matches in the paper and online. There'll be lots of photos, but we need to look at more coverage of the games themselves and what people are saying, and that's where we might be leaning on people like you. You give us some excellent sort of fan perspectives on things from time to time. We've got Charlie Silverburr from the ABF in our supplement this week as well. But what I would say is that, if there's anyone listening who's got an idea about what we should be doing, tell us. We're not closed to new ideas about the coverage, and that goes for what we do in print in the Herald as well as online. So people are free to get in touch with me either by email or on social media. Find me on Twitter and so on.
What's your Twitter name, just so people get?
Steve Bone 1. So all one. Well, Steve Bone, all one word with the number 1 at the end of it. So drop me a line on there, or look out for any
you just want your own chant, mate, don't you? There's only one Steve Bone. That's what it is, isn't it? That's what you want, don't you?
Yeah, people haven't started singing it yet, though.
No, you never know. Yeah. But to be honest, it's great to see, and one thing we could talk for hours and got to let you go soon, but it's probably one of those things that unfortunately local press is isn't what it used to be. You know,
No.
like I grew up in South London. We had the South London Press, we had News
Yeah.
Shopper and all that lot come down here.
Yeah.
And even when I moved to Sussex, it was like, and now, you know, it is a shame, but, you know, I think just get out there, support the paper. You know, it's you know, and if you think you can bring some original articles, as you say, rather than just match report,
That's what we need to do. Yeah.
and you know, focus on embrace Worthing. I think, you know, get the fan perspective. Hinch is, as you know, as we know, he's a very good guy to talk to. He'll tell you things that you might not have heard normally, and you can, he's very open and honest, and it's just brilliant. But, you know, Steve, don't be a stranger. You know, utilize the podcast, pop on again mid-season. We might have a little mid-season update or something, and, you know, we'd be happy to help you. And it's nice to see even things like BBC, like the BBC coverage on South Today, and, you know, on the BBC Radio Sussex has been brilliant. We'll be speaking to Robin, who's their chief sports correspondent soon.
Yeah,
but
good
it's great to see. It's just great, and let's embrace it. Let's take it and run with it and embrace it, because you never know. You never know, Steve. It could be a league club in a few years' time.
It could be, and then we'll have to think again about the coverage.
Oh God, we will. You have to have its own newspaper, won't you?
We'll have an 8-page bullet every week if you don't care.
Yeah, it will be. Steve Bone, keep an eye on this episode. Will probably go out at the beginning next week, so the supplement will be still out in local news agents and stuff until next Wednesday, most probably. So pick it up, couple of quid, supports local press and everything. But Steve, it's been a pleasure to talk to you finally. Let's hope next season is a successful one and we end up sort of cementing our place in the National League. And we'll talk before then, but I look forward to maybe having another end of season roundup this time next year.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and all the best to everyone for next season.
Steve Bone, thank you.
This is the Rebel Yell Podcast.
Great to hear from Steve Bone there, and, you know, hopefully he'll be in touch a bit more over the season. And anyone that actually wants to talk about the podcast and stuff, let's do that. I think before we wrap this podcast up, we're leaving one man, and one man is leaving. That's Keith Mitchell. And I think just a word, Jacko, he's been a fantastic guy to the club. He's been really close to us. We've been able to have a good working relationship with him. You know, there's times that obviously we haven't agreed with things, but that's just natural, because when you work closely and you've got the fans at heart, you know, sometimes they look at a business and a club side of thing to what we want as a fan. But in all honesty, he's been fantastic, and he's going to be huge boots to fill.
Oh, it's going to be massive, and you know, I think nobody can deny it. He's done a great job, and whoever takes over has to be something really special.
Yeah,
you know, to take that position Keith has. And what I like, Keith promised something and he always delivered on it.
That's true, mate. That is true.
And it was a lot of cases. It's always a lot of words and, you know, a lot of things to say they will do, but actually, Worthing have done it.
And he promised a stadium, and we've got a stadium. Promised a fan zone, we've got a fan zone.
He did.
Let's see what else he promised and delivered. Let's hear from him.
Or not.
This is the Rebel Yell Podcast.
Well, for the very last time, how many times we had him on, Jacko?
I think 2, 3 times, 4 times. I can't remember.
Yeah. Keith Mitchell is leaving us. He's going.
Boo!
Don't be too sad. Don't cry too much. But Keith, welcome back to the podcast. Sad. It's a weird circumstance, because, as we've said plenty of times, what a way to go out, mate.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you could write the script, you would have chosen that one, wouldn't you? I mean, it wasn't, you know, always written in the stars that we were going to go that way. We knew that because after the previous 3 seasons. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better final game to be in charge for that one than that. That was sensational, wasn't it? What a day!
No, what a day for the memory books, to be honest, Keith. But, you know, we'll talk about that in a bit. I think what we need to do is talk when you stepped into this role. What was the date you stepped into general manager role here at Worthing? When was it? You remember?
2nd of May 2023.
So 2023. It seems like a lifetime ago, don't it, Jacko? But it's not actually that.
I thought it was longer, actually.
Yeah, it feels
longer. Yeah,
yeah. He's got less hair than he did when he started. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
But stepping that day and you walked into Woodside Road. Obviously, you'd had the interviews and come in. And obviously, we knew you'd come from the Middle East in your old job, so you're in cold, wet Worthing, sunny Worthing sometimes. But you walked in, looked at the stadium, and you're walking out here looking at the stadium now. Like, part of your job has been to do that. I mean, you must be proud.
Yeah, I'm absolutely proud. I mean, I remember the day you're talking about. It was the 2nd of May 2023, and I came in at 9 o'clock in the morning. I met a couple of members of the staff and asked them what the deal for the day was, and they said, "Oh, we got this and we got that, and then tonight we've got a playoff eliminator against Braintree." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay, so, you know, hang around and, you know, how does that work? You know, better watch that. Well, you're running it." So, and that was really set the tone, you know, on the first day. Come in and you look around and didn't know anything about anything. So it really was in at the deep end. But then since then, in comparing, like when you look around the place, as you mentioned, now 3 years on against where we were then, I'd like to think that we've made a significant improvement in the ground. And like you said, part of what the agenda was to get the off the pitch in line with the on the pitch, and that meant that we had to get the ground ready for the National League. And that seemed like a big ask at the time, and it was a big ask at the time. But we've chipped away at it. We've made some good progress. And now I'm literally walking out the ground. It does now. You look back and you think, actually, we've come a long way.
Well, I think you could probably look at it, and I'm sure you agree, Jaco, is that you're leaving the champion, really. But part of that success was obviously getting Adam Hinchelwood back, which at the time, as we said, was it the right choice? Was it the wrong choice? Was it right for him? Was it right for the club? Obviously it was. But part of the reason he came back was when he came in and looked at the club again, which he had been back, but to actually look at facilities like where we're sitting now in the 1886, the new stand, the fan zone, he's seen it change, and that was one of the reasons that drew him back. If it hadn't been for that, we would have got another manager, I'm sure, that would be fully capable, but would we be sitting here as a National League club,
Yeah, and I think that's right. I mean, I remember Adam came back actually for Pete Vale's funeral. And that's when he walked in the first time and saw the North Stand. And I know he was blown away by it at that point. You're like, bloody hell, what's happened? So and that was definitely his reaction then. And I think also with the players as well. When you're trying to do some recruitment and you're trying to bring people in and you show them the vision of the club, it's not just about the football side of it. It's about the infrastructure and about what else is around the stadium, how it looks, how it feels. And you get a feeling for the fans through that as well. And I think that when you put all those things together, it's quite a strong message, a positive message for people. That this is something that they want to be part of. And obviously Hinch was made the right decision, and obviously that stayed with him at that point, and obviously stayed in his mind when he came back when we had the discussions with him.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk, Jacko. He was twiddling his thumb. I thought he was going to talk. No, actually, he's going to talk. He's taking a deep breath. And then, right. So you said the Hinch movement was amazing, but you look back this season in October, and there were times that, let's just say, I know through sources that maybe yourself got a step ahead of yourself last year at the end of last season with post-season celebrations. Am I right in saying, Keith?
Oh, what are you talking about? Open top buses and things like that? How did I know you were going there?
Well, I mean, I've heard this thing, and this season, I know none of that was even talked about because, you felt maybe we took a step too far. Do you look back and think the preparation for this season compared to maybe seasons before? Because we've always been up there. We've literally always been up there. But it looked like before Easter weekend, after we played Enfield, I don't think it was going to happen again. And we were like, it's going to be the playoffs. We need to fight for that second place. Do you look on preparation that you've done for this season compared to last season any differently?
Yeah, I think every season you improve, both on and off the pitch, and certainly off the pitch. We've looked at what good looked like and thought, what did we do well? What could we have done better? The same as most people do in any job, really, when they're trying to improve themselves and improve what they're doing. And I think that what's important to realise is that there's a synergy between what happens off the pitch and on the pitch, and everyone can feel that. And certainly the fans are integral in that, because look at the noise that we've managed to generate within this ground at the moment. Look at the Ebbsfleet game, for example. And like you said, whilst Enfield, it looked like potentially we'd kind of blown it a little bit. I think that there was still a belief in the camp deep down that we couldn't have surely gone on a winning run of 11 out of 12 if we weren't good enough to win the league. And so everyone kept the faith. And a lot of fans in the main kept the faith as well. And I think when you actually turn around and pull all the ingredients together and say, actually, we never gave up on knowing that we had what we needed to do on and off the pitch. We were doing very well off the pitch. We got the good infrastructure. We got a great fan base. We were doing a lot of things very well. The visitor experience was really good. And that kept people coming too. And I think that played a part in keeping the noise up and helped lift the players in those crucial moments, especially in those last 5 or 6 matches.
Did you have any plans ready for the playoffs? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, so no, we didn't have any open top buses. No. So as you touched on, James, before. No, I mean, look, last season, I probably won't live that one down, but we were chatting. I was chatting to Ralph, and I said to Ralph I think it was when we were 4 points clear with a game in hand and 3 to play or something last season, and I said about, is it time to start talking about an open top bus? And Ralph was like, don't you dare jinx it. And of course, then what happened, right? And we lose the league by a point. So there was not even a sniffling of a mention of open top buses until the job was done. And of course, unfortunately, by the time that's done, it almost is a bit too late.
Well,
but
they all buggered off on holiday. They put up podcast plans into.
They did.
Yeah, so I mean, fair play to them. They deserved it. It was funny.
Yeah, but we'd sooner win the league than have the open top bus. Take one.
Well, I think there's an opportunity that you've done this summer, and I'm quite pleased to see, because I said it to Ralph. I've said one of the things that's always frustrated me with the club when it comes to like the World Cup or the Euros, there's never been sort of a full-on plan in place. And to see you already advertising that England is going to be in here and out there, there's going to be the trophy, it's going to be fantastic. And I think, about time, so we've got the fantastic facilities. I mean, this would be amazing. If the weather's nice, it's a nice evening game in here. If it's a little bit chilly, you've got TVs on out here. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere, and have that trophy here as well. I think it'll be brilliant.
Yeah, I think now we've got the facilities that we can be proud of, and I think all the fans can see that. Certainly 3 years ago that wasn't the case.
No.
I think we had a functional facility 3 years ago, and I think it was one that we were just over the line with. And whilst it was still better than some, now I think we're better than most.
Yeah.
And I think that transition into being able to have the facilities and use them properly, enable people to do other stuff that we couldn't do before, I think shows that's always been part of the plan, and now it's starting to be part of the reality.
But we have to as well, isn't it? Because we need to use the facilities more, because obviously next year we lose a bit of drink income during the game. So we have to find other ways of making money as a club.
Yeah, I mean, in the day, look, we know that the player budget's going to have to be higher for next year. We know that the transportation costs, overnight stays and everything else cost money. And whilst getting into the National League itself obviously gives some extra benefit, we still need to bring the coffers in, and anywhere and everywhere that we can possibly do that in the right way, then we'll endeavour to do so. So obviously things like the World Cup, England are obviously there or thereabouts again, in terms of having a team that could potentially do very well, and knowing the passion and support that this nation's got for its home team, then absolutely, if we can facilitate and accommodate it, we know how passionate our fans are. Let's get them all together in the closed season whilst Worthing aren't playing, and get them supporting England.
I heard how good it was for the Maidstone game. It was a great atmosphere in here, and it was full to the rafters, and it was good. And if you can get that for the World Cup, I think the thing is as well is the fact you've advertised it early now, because I think sometimes it was a bit last minute as well, and people had already made plans. But the fact you're doing it here, there's no entrance cost, is there? I think is there a ticket cost?
I think there's going to be
maybe that thing where you get a beer.
Details to be. Yeah, I think what we did with the trial, if you like, for the Maidstone game, where you bought a ticket but redeemed it against your first drink. I think we'll probably do something else that gets a bit of commitment, but at the same time, yeah, exactly, numbers. Because we've got capacity restrictions and things, and staff it accordingly.
Yeah.
So
no, that'd be good. And I mean, one thing that Ralph also mentioned about us last season is he likes to have a little bit of ink work on his body, and apparently that when he came in, the board all agreed, well, some of you agreed to. I think only one was Chris Salt that didn't actually agree to it, but there was a bit of murmurs about getting a tattoo. And am I right in saying that, Keith? Yes, yeah. There's no point denying it, because we've spoken to Barry, we've spoken to Ralph. Ralph's already got his.
That Ralph has got his. Yeah,
surely
Ralph
a
has got
parting
his.
gift for you as a mackerel man, it's got to be getting your mackerel on you somewhere.
It's an interesting comment. Yeah, look, I'm going to wait for Barry and George and those guys to get theirs done first.
George will, because he's inked up and everything.
He's inked up anyway. Yeah, when Barry's got his done, I think once Barry gets his done, we'll have another conversation about
that.
The
chairman set the example, is that what the owner, then and then the owner, then the chairman, and part owner, and then you. I mean, work down the ladder.
Yeah.
But
let's get Barry's done first, and then we'll see how we go.
As I said to Ralph, get a flash tattooist at one of the World Cup games, and you can basically get him drunk and put him down there like a drunk night in Ibiza or something.
Maybe we'll set up a stall in the fan zone and get fans to do it as well.
Just make sure you're not drunk and get it on your bum or something like that. Have you told the missus about this thing?
No,
she doesn't have a clue. He'll come home one night. He's got it's almost as good. You can do the AI one that I did, and everyone thinks. Did you see Temmie liked it the other day?
I did.
Have you seen my AI picture?
No,
I got to put an AI picture of the day after we won, of a tattoo on my arm, a Worthing logo with like the cling film around it, and people fell for it, and even Temmie put like fire as a logo and everything like that.
Well, maybe I'll get away with that.
Yeah, maybe send it to your wife and see the reaction, see what she says first, and then be like, if she actually reacts all right, actually I probably could get it. If not, I mean, my wife would just roll her eyes, and it wouldn't surprise me anyway. I'm like, yeah, to be fair, it's like that. It's been great to chat about sort of reminiscing. Are there any sort of, I mean, obviously this season's a massive highlight. What would you say was one of your highlights of being as a CEO and general manager of the club? COO, sorry, and general manager.
I think when you asked me what my highlight was previously, at the first instance, it was the first live game against Bath, because I think that was a milestone moment for the club, having a live TV TNT game. Then that was superseded at the beginning of this season with the FA Cup draw, having the FA Cup here, you know, and the live FA Cup draw that you used to watch as a kid on the telly, having live in our lounge that we didn't even have a year ago. You know, I think that was the next thing. But then, of course, you know, that game against Ebbsfleet that day, I mean, you can't trump that with anything, really, can't you? Certainly nothing that's happened in certainly the last 140 years, I suggest.
How did you approach the day against Ebbsfleet? Because we had several. Ralph, he came in as late as possible. I think Barry went along like normal. How did you approach the day?
Well, I was here at 7 o'clock in the morning.
I guess it was a work day for you, though, wasn't it?
It was a work day, but obviously you've got to remember everything was 3 hours or 2.5 hours earlier than it ordinarily would be. So we started earlier. We had more people in earlier doing various things. I mean, knowing the logistics of the day meant we were going to have something around the 4,000 mark in the ground. Knowing the importance of the game after what happened at Maidstone. Because obviously the week before, it was a case of if we won at Maidstone, we knew it was going to be carnival from the beginning, right? It was just going to be party time from the get-go as soon as people arrived. But this, we thought actually there might be a bit of tension in here as well. We didn't know how the dynamic of the game was going to unravel or unfold as the day went on. So we had to sort of kind of be ready for every permutation. I mean, in terms of the operation of the day, it was so smooth. Everything seemed to go really well. Considering we had 500 Ebbsfleet fans, and to their credit, they knew that we'd knocked them out of the playoffs during that 90 minutes.
Did you see what their reaction was after? Because I know the players were quite applauded off by our fans, which was really great to see those videos of it. But did they applaud us? Did you see them because I obviously didn't even catch them because of the amount of things.
Yeah, I think there was some respect there. I got a message as well. From Damien, who's their CEO, so basically saying, "What a day, what a club! You thoroughly enjoyed, and deserved it, and everything else." There was a lot of there was nice humbling messages from some of their guys. So and on the day, I mean, look, considering, like I said, we knocked their 500, their fans, and they're travelling 500 fans out the playoffs. Like they were good as gold. They didn't cause any problems, any issues on the day. Allowed us to have our moment, if you like, and I think that was nice and respectful of them.
It makes a difference, though, isn't it, to see that other fans respect the club.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, there wasn't any issues between the two sets. I don't think there ever has been between us and Ebbsfleet. But yeah, like I said, again, tensions run high, emotions run high. I think because we were, whilst the first half was pretty nip and tuck, I think the second half we were pretty dominant. I think there was an acceptance by full time, the fact that we deserved the win, and that probably nullified the problems. But in terms of having 4,000 people in the ground and seeing an atmosphere like that on a beautiful sunny day, the lifting of the trophy, everyone was smiling, and we went into that carnival atmosphere that we had hoped we were going to have.
Because I don't think you really relaxed till I saw you down the Thieves' Kitchen, because I think you were in work mode, and obviously when the trophy, you were like, right, we've got to get the security, the players, the fans, like obviously you've got that health and safety aspect to it. You've got these people on the pitch and like people that are important. You don't want anyone getting injured, so you must have not really been able to relax till you basically could check out the club really that night, was it?
Yeah, that's right. I think until until the boxes have been ticked, if you like, and everything's done, and you can sort of stand everybody down, know that part of the building shut, that area of the stadium's done, those people in the right place doing the right things, and so everyone can now go into flip over really into actually now let's join the celebrations, because it's like I said, it's a moment, right? It's a historic moment, and you'd be forgiven for sort of hanging on to work mode because you've been in it all day, but when you can then click over into it, then it was I mean, of course, and seeing how much everyone was enjoying themselves, it was hard not to be part of, really.
Yeah, I bet you just wish the documentary was here this year rather than a couple of years ago, because it would have shown off your nice new stadium, fan zone, and everything like that.
We said the documentary always deserved a follow-up, and I think they missed a massive trick here, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, look, maybe they'll do one retrospectively with, I mean, I don't know what footage they'll get, but I mean, there's been the zone highlights that I'm not sure how they'll manage to do the deal to slide that in, and we obviously got your instant replay stuff that we can share, but I mean, look, certainly they should possibly do a little revisit. Now we're in the National League, but it would have been nice, but who knows, maybe they'll do another one another time and we'll get a different result at the end of the season.
Well, I think it's been a massive pleasure to know you over the last few years, Keith. I think we can say probably from everyone that it's going to be massive boots to fill, and whoever is replacing you feels a bit when Hinch was leaving the club. They've got big boots to fill to sort of continue your hard work.
Massive boots, isn't it?
Yeah, but thank you from us, and thank you for being outstanding with the Supporters Association, the podcast, letting us have access as we have, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. But don't be a stranger. Come back. I'm sure you'll come to a few games, won't you?
Yeah, I'm a fan now, aren't I? I didn't come as a fan, but I'm a fan now.
Do you have to pay?
I haven't spoken to the guys yet. I'm sure I might see if I can wangle my way on the guest list.
On the guest list.
No, it's when he tries to get in the 1886. He's like, "Are you on the guest list? Have you got tickets?" No, you're not allowed.
No wristband, you're not coming in.
You have to come down to the Tarring Club, mate. There you go. You'll be down there with us now. But Keith, thank you so much. Enjoy your summer. Enjoy your time off. Love to the family, and I'll see you around as a fan.
Yeah, and thanks very much, by the way, too. First, I just want to mention all the fans, really, for their support with me over the last 3 years. You've been outstanding. Like I said in my little "Come on, you Red" speech before the match, you've been absolutely dynamite, and good luck to Worthing and all the fans going forward.
Cheers, Keith.
This is the Rebel Yell podcast.
It's been it's going to be sad to not see him around. Hopefully, he'll come to a few games, but Yako, I think we need to stop milking this promotion and actually have a summer break ourselves. Do you think I should go on a beach somewhere?
You going on holiday again?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, me going on holiday. But I think just summarise this season, mate, before we wrap it up. How have you felt? What would you say?
Beginning of the season, with an extended pre-season, I thought it was going to be a mediocre season. Obviously, being here on the Thursday night when Aggie left, when the news broke Aggie was leaving, we met him in the bar, and then who's going to take over? Massive news, and then Adam came back. First game, Forest Green. What a night that was. Even though we lost, I think we played. It was a good night. And from then on, really started to believe. Then we had a little wobble, and then Easter weekend, and then but what a season. Can we ask for more?
No. Your highlight?
I said it before. I think it was Dorking away.
I agree. That's my highlight of the season.
But maybe the whole Easter weekend, because seeing some people getting really emotional when their son scores a winner. I think that it's. And I still think, even though we go to National League, I still think we're a community stroke family club, and I think that's what I missed the most over the off season.
Yeah. And I think we also have to say, like, as it's been announced now, we have to say thanks to the players that represented the club over the last year that have been released. And you know what, I have to give a shout out to Ode Sorondo, Jack Spong. I'm going to really miss him. Ode, I know it would have hurt him, and what a player for this club and everything like that. But Christ, like, I was really sad at that. But it's what happens when you're a progressive club.
It is really sad, and I also think I said to you before, my heart bleeds, but my head thinks I really like him. But is Ode the player who takes us up further in the National League? I'm not 100% sure.
I do think he was a squad player, though. I think for his love, I think he would have been great. But you can't hold on to things like I got to save that money for players that are going to push us up.
It is, but that's non-league, isn't it? And they say never fall in league with a non-league player.
Yeah,
but
that's what.
Unfortunately, you do. And I think we have to trust Adam and his management team and the board that they will recruit the right players for the style of football we play, but also to at least stay up, and maybe you never know what happens, do you?
Well, it's going to be an exciting season for sure. Thank you to our support and our sponsors, MK Window Cleaning, Price Jones Electrical. Thank you to Velo Coffee for hosting the Coffee Cast earlier in the season. We're hoping there's going to be hopefully some positive changes for the podcast over the summer, so stay tuned what they might be. Things are talking, things are being done, things are being said, and we're hoping to launch maybe a live podcast to start the season somewhere, whether it be here or Velo. It'll be fun. But Yako, it's been fun.
It's been really fun, isn't it?
Spencer, wherever you are, hopefully you're alive. You're alive somewhere, and not still on your 2-week bender, having this meal deal somewhere. We'll have to do a Spencer meal deal and spoons, and we'll be visiting loads of services. We can bring back Spencer services next season.
We can,
because there'll be lots of new service stations, not just Cobham and Clackett anymore.
And maybe you can finally write that book.
And maybe you'll let me review some Wetherspoons, because we might be around the country rather than just the Three Fishes.
Well, the problem is, James, the only time the way you review Wetherspoons is by
the carpet, how sticky it is, and how nice it is.
Watch this space.
Yeah, you never know, mate. You never know. Ooh, it's a cryptic clue there. But also, thank you to you, our listeners. As I said, like we released the Spotify figures end of the year on year. We've grown this podcast, and the comments you put online, you say to us in person, it means a lot. As we've said many times before, we do this voluntarily. It takes up our own time. We are busy people, and we love doing it for you. So thank you, and continue to support it. Share it out. Continue supporting the Rebel Yell brand and Supporters Association. Membership will be out soon for the Supporters Association. And
actually, can we say something else as well? One highlight, another one, I think, is Mackie. this year.
Mackie's been great, yeah. And thank you to Mr. Mackie, whoever you may be. Actually, he was revealed as Marcus in the podcast. So thank you to Marcus for giving his time. And maybe there might be some money for Mrs. Mackie soon. On that note,
thank
you guys for listening. Have a good summer and we'll speak to you soon.